Christine Lisi. The city of Kansas City is busy planning another Super Bowl championship parade. The parade to honor quarterback Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs for their second Lombardi Trophy in 4 seasons set for Wednesday. The MVP of Super Bowl 57, just the third quarterback to win multiple Super Bowl MVPs and multiple Super Bowls. And even though he's just 27, Mahomes already among the 3 best QBs of all time, in the opinion of ESPN's Dan Orlovsky.
So the guy's gone to 5 straight Pro Bowls. He's won 5 straight division titles. He's got 5 straight 12 or more win seasons. He's gone to 5 straight conference championship games. He's got 2 Super Bowl championships, 2 MVPs, and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. That's the greatest start to a career ever.
Patrick Mahomes is scheduled to join Canty and Carlin at 6:20 Eastern. Major League Baseball's regular season extra inning, extra runner rule is here to stay. Moving forward, a runner will be placed on second base to start the 10th inning and in every inning after until a winner's determined. For the first time in 2 decades, Alabama, #1 in the Associated Press men's college basketball poll.
We all know the game isn't over till it's over. So next time you need parts for your car, don't call it quits. Go to eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts to take your car into overtime. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit.
Let's go!
Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It's ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere around the world on the iHeartRadio app, and we are seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel. It is an overreaction Super Bowl Monday here in the Sportsocracy. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Well, I mean, last night told us one thing definitively, and that is there is one above all the others as the greatest of all time.
Uh-huh.
And that would be me. Let's go for me. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
You knew that was coming.
Let's go.
You had to know that was coming. Jeremy taking his victory lap today as he correctly predicted. The Kansas City Chiefs would be the champions of the NFL world. I mean,
let's just be real clear. Last night was a good night for my bank account and a horrible night for my liver. Which hurts.
Many domestic lights were had. Did you ever? I never saw you with a mullet maker. Did you ever have?
We went less on the fireball, which was a good call.
It was.
I did, however, come up with a genius idea, which was save the top off every domestic light that I had. I picked up my pants this morning. It sounded like a hobo. It was.
Why did you do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
It made sense at 8 o'clock last night.
Interesting. All right.
Let me be honest with you. If you bet the over, you won.
Many libations were had, and it was one of the greatest Super Bowls we've ever seen. The Super Bowl, it's one of those things that is just, it is a game unlike any other. More often than not. It's time for the opening drive. And it's always brought to you by our good friends over at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, 629 Brevard Road. Go on by. You're in the market for a new or a certified pre-owned vehicle. Mention the Sportsocracy when you go in to make your trade-in, and they'll give you $250 on whatever your trade-in's already worth.
And it doesn't matter if you're in the market for a pre-owned or a new. Frankly, I went in today and just went, hey, can I stay in the same car? Because I like this one a lot. And everywhere I go, people ask me about the Boulder Pearl Gray. That is the color of my current Nissan Rogue Platinum. Oh, it's so wonderful. And I get it for another week.
Yeah, Jeremy's all excited. He's all excited. Rolling in the dough, rolling in his win.
Oh,
and rolling in his brand new car.
Last night was just 7. Let's go.
Did you hit every prop bet?
Not all of them. I missed Pat Mahomes. I was over on Jalen Hurts. I mean, and to be honest with you, I got the Chris Stapleton over I didn't even realize what I actually wagered. I thought I had it at 125 seconds.
Yeah.
I had it at 121 seconds.
Oh.
Which is a very important discrepancy because one was right and one was wrong.
Gotcha. All right, so 121 seconds was the over.
And by the way, greatest national anthem since Whitney Houston, and it's not even debatable. Now, it's not better than that. I've heard that today. It was not better than that.
It is not better than that.
But Chris Stapleton, I nominate you as the all-time forever national anthem singer for everything.
No, because I need him to do a halftime show now.
You'll never get that.
No.
You'll never get that. I mean, it would have been better than Rihanna, which was horrible.
Stop that.
Oh,
that was
awful.
a good show.
It looked like she was playing in Mario Brothers.
It did.
Like I was waiting on Bowser to come out and just start shooting fireballs at her.
I was not sure what I was not sure what that whole setup was.
It was awful. And then the lollipop guild that was around her, that was cute. That's what. So you changed the set list 85,000 times, and that's what you came up with. I would love to see what stayed on the cutting room floor because that was bad.
No, it was not. It was. Well,
I mean, there was no shot after last year. It was going to be disappointing regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, she could have come out with fireworks shooting out of her arms, and I would have gone, "This sucks. Go away."
Right.
Bring back. You know what? Bring me Snoop Dogg back. Let's go.
I'm all for it. That's the one thing I was shocked about was that the halftime show didn't include any special guests. I for sure thought it would.
I mean, several of her special guests are not people that you could have on a halftime show right now.
But I mean, think of all the collaborations that she's done. It was a great opportunity to bring out a special guest, but none of them arrived.
Yeah, it was disappointing. Much like that Philadelphia Eagle defense.
Yeah, the defense for the Philadelphia Eagles was not great.
You remember? Yeah, I don't remember who said this. It was a visionary with a mullet that said that defense is not as good as you think it is, and you're about to find out what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Oh, but the pass rush, nobody allows more pressures. I got hit more times last night, and it was by myself than Patrick Mahomes did. By the way, you should learn this when you're not playing football. The pound your chest thing, you're not wearing a chest protector. So you wake up the next day and go, I think I'm actively having a heart attack.
Yeah, don't do that.
I apparently did it a lot. Because I woke up this morning like, God, this feels like when I actually did athletic things. Right. This is awful.
Right. It was a fun time down at the Village porch.
They're such patient people. They put up with me, and they like me, which is bizarre.
41 North Merriman Avenue, and you're down there watching football at any point during the season. You can always know when Jeremy's bank account has cha-chinged because you will hear from every corner of the bar, "Let's go!
Oh, yeah.
Let's go!
Oh, yeah. Let's go!" That was the official mantra of last night.
It got to a point. It was like, will somebody please shut him up?
Hey, I don't know where you're going. Go.
Right.
You've been talking about going. Go.
Exactly. Exactly. It was just such a phenomenal game. And you were completely right about the Eagles defense did not show up last night. The first half went pretty well.
Yep. And
first half went pretty well, and then Andy Reid came in and made some adjustments in the second half, and there was nothing on the Philadelphia side.
I don't want you to think that this is just going to be a 3-hour victory lap for me, because there were things that I got wrong.
Of course there were, and we'll talk about them.
It wasn't the annihilation that I thought it would be, and I am officially here to make a fait accompli.
Yep.
I don't admit I was wrong often. I was wrong about Jalen Hurts.
Yes, you were.
And there's a but. So don't just go, oh, I told you yet. I don't think he's ever going to win anything. I think that's as close as he'll ever get to a Super Bowl, and it's not his fault.
Really?
It's not his fault.
It's Nick Sirianni's fault.
Well, Nick Sirianni, yeah, no, we got a whole talk about old Mr. Cry Pants.
Yes, sir, we do.
Bad look, bro. I mean, I get it. It was a great national anthem, but you went full streaming tears. I mean, you went you went
really?
Ugly
That's
cry.
That's the thing that got you about Nick Sirianni last night?
I mean,
because I'll be honest with you.
I don't know that I've ever cried like that in my entire life. I don't think I've ever cried.
I don't think I have either. But I mean, it's one thing for a guy to get emotional during the biggest moment of your life.
I'm not judging you for it. I'm just saying now your face is a meme forever.
It'll last as long as the No Sean Moreno one did. You remember that one? When his eye opened up.
Oh yeah.
During the.
Oh no, this is going to last
anthem.
longer than that.
I don't know.
So, and here's why. There's one very simple reason why this is going to last longer. You cannot be. All right, I'm going to draw a comparison, And it's going to be based off something you just said.
Okay.
You can't be the loudest guy in the room and not expect people to not like you and not expect people to take victory laps when you're wrong. Last night, I was the loudest guy in the room. You know why? Because I was right. Because I could. Because I could do that. If Philadelphia had played in the second half the way they did in the first, I'd have been the quietest guy in the room.
Yep.
And I sat there, Corey Dayharsh.
The first half was awesome, by the way.
By the way, I have to admit, Corey Dayharsh, who showed up with us at the Village Sports yesterday, you are the greatest sport I've ever met in my life. Because I think you actively had everything against me, and you didn't punch me in the face. And for that, I am greatly appreciative. Diehard Eagles fan. Came in with it was awesome. It was a great night. Now, we'll get to Nick Sirianni after the break.
Okay.
How much better could Jalen Hurts play?
He can't.
He can't. He cannot do it. He actively cannot do it. And what happened? In the second half, you made the adjustment, and I'll let you do this. If you want to rush 17 times, more power to you. You ain't beating me that way. Sorry, you're not. And you won't against Joe Burrow. You won't against Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert, all of these. I'm just telling you that that's a great way to play. And that's the best team he's ever going to have. But when he gets expensive and all those toys go away, because let's be really honest, do you realize how close to being just absolutely god-awful he was? The touchdown to A.J. Brown was a horrible decision. He's double covered. There is no point. I've watched that route no less than 20 times. There was never a point that was a good decision, ever, except Trent McDuffie went, ooh, lights, and just went straight up, bird into a windshield like, oh, that's a touchdown. If that's an interception, we're looking at Jalen Hurts a little differently today, and it should have been. But when you have a D-O-double-G dog like A.J. Brown on the outside, Devontae Smith, here's the problem. You cannot keep all those guys. You can't. He's making $5 million right now. After last night, unequivocally, there is nothing you can do that does not entail you paying him $50 million. There's not a world where that exists. And it probably happens this offseason, just to make sure it gets done so you don't have that weird, will they, won't they? We've watched Lamar. We see how it goes. If you're telling me right now that he's going to continue, because that's his game, your shelf life is half of what any other quarterback is, because you cannot get hit that many times. He got hit a couple times last night where I went, oh, good Lord. Like, he's not going to get up from that. That's not – quarterbacks don't get hit like that.
No, we've seen how this goes.
He laid it all out there. And I'll be honest with you, 100%, I mean this to the depths of my soul. If I had an MVP vote, I'd have voted for Jalen Hurts. I don't care that they lost. I could care less. Because if it wasn't for him, you would have gotten slaughtered. Because nobody else did anything.
That's true.
Nobody else did. And outside of Jalen Hurts and a couple just tremendous performances by your receivers, specifically the two I've already mentioned, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. They were phenomenal. Miles Sanders should be on a milk carton. And Kenny Gainwell should be right beside him. And, I would say that was not predictable, except I predictabled it. Nick Sirianni is not a good coach. Yeah. He's not. Point blank. He is not a good coach. And Andy Reid absolutely annihilated him in the second half.
He absolutely did. Yesterday, the game yesterday came down to the two things that I undersold the most. Andy Reid coaching circles around that.
And he did. And he would do it to practically anybody.
Right. I mean, it was varsity versus JV when it came to coaching in that game yesterday. Patrick Mahomes, he's absolutely phenomenal, but I mean, yes, obviously he's a Super Bowl MVP, blah, 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 blah. But I don't feel like Patrick Mahomes was the reason they won that game. I think it was a lot to do with coaching.
You can't give the MVP to Andy Reid.
No, you can't. But here's what I'm saying is, again, Patrick Mahomes was awesome. I don't want to take anything away from him, but I felt like that game was won on the sideline by Andy Reid.
You're not wrong, but there were two checks, and there's no way for us to know who called this. I have a feeling I know who did. After the break, we'll talk about what that is, and it really shows you the discrepancy between Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes and Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. And it was 100% the difference in that game last night.
Was it the best Super Bowl we've ever seen? I've seen a lot of that talk today.
I mean, it was very good, but I feel like it's the most recent thing we've seen.
Yeah. I don't know about being the best. It was probably it
was top 5 or 6.
I mean, yeah, you got to go back to the Philly New England game when it was just both of those quarterbacks put on a show. Like we very rarely have seen both quarterbacks be this good in a Super Bowl.
Well, this is also the third time we've seen Andy Reid in the Super Bowl. The script has gone exactly the same all 3 times. And I don't mean script because the NFL's rigged. Please stop that. We will get to that. That's what we're going to open the 4 o'clock hour with, and I'm going to yell. Okay? I'm just straight up, I'm going to yell.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
If you're like me, when I'm working with wood, safety is my #1 priority. That's why I use the Wall Manscaper. With its patented wraparound guard and safe touch blade, it's the safest tool for whittling below the old carpenter's belt. No nicks, no cuts, no fear. So protect your package, and all of you, with a full set of Wall Manscaper tools. Groom safely, my friend.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Introducing Total by Verizon, a new prepaid wireless provider with no contract plans starting at just $30 a month. With Total by Verizon, you don't have to sacrifice reliability or freedom. Get Total by Verizon and save money every month on America's most reliable 5G network. Most reliable 5G based on most first-place rankings and Root Metrics first half 2022 assessments of 125 metros. Experiences vary, not an endorsement.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
Yeah, last night was fun. 38-35. Chiefs get the win on the last-second field goal. Yeah, there's the officiating talk going on today.
Don't worry. We're going to get into that.
We'll get into all of it. Don't worry.
If you're friends with me on Facebook, you already know my take, and you're probably not going to like it. But we have officially heard from our resident Philadelphia Eagle, Canada in.
Okay.
I'm your huckleberry.
Gage Camplin. Still a little numb, rough one. Yes, the call was bad and inconsistent, but we lost because of Gannon. 1, you don't blitz Mahomes, and 2, you fell for the same play twice. Jalen played out of his mind. I agree with every word you just said. And what he just said is exactly what I was getting ready to say. You fell for the exact same play twice. They ran it in reverse. I have never seen 2 wide receivers that open. Please tell me again how great Darius Slay and James Bradbury are. Tell me again. Please. I mean, it is honestly comical to me that people did not see that coming. And you know why? Because that happened earlier this year. That's not the first time that they fell for. It wasn't the exact same play. It was the same concept. And they got confused, and then they did it again. And why am I not shocked that Andy Reid, who it just notoriously pours over tape, that he saw that?
Right.
That was exactly what I thought was going to happen. Was Andy Reid is going to find that one weakness in how this defense is coordinated, and he's going to prey on it. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's a joke Patrick Mahomes won MVP last night. Now, was he the catalyst? Yeah.
Yes.
He also threw for $173?
Something like that.
It was
89, I think it was.
That maybe it was maybe. I know it was under 200 yards.
Yeah.
The MVP last night.
182.
The MVP last night was Isaiah Pacheco, because when you absolutely needed 4 yards, he went and got you 5. And that is what Andy Reid does so well, is he finds these guys. I'm not sure Isaiah Pacheco would work in any other offense in the league. And I mean that. I am not sure he could be a feature back anywhere else. He is a star here. All that talk in the preseason of he's Jamal Charles and LaShawn McCoy in one, he's right.
Yep.
He's right, because the Pat Mahomes thing was not working. Because for the first time, I saw you don't have a guy, and that's a problem. You have Travis Kelce. And how in the world you let Chauncey Gardner-Johnson on him, I will never know. But Jonathan Gannon, superstar, next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Let's go.
I think that was always in the game plan.
Well, I can tell you right now, and I told you this last week, the first time Pat Mahomes sees that, I'll tell you where this ball's going. It's going to the pylon of, listen here, you're just Whittle, and I'm not.
Right.
And I'm going to go get it. And he did. Philadelphia outplayed Kansas City last night, I would say, for probably 50 of the 60 minutes.
I'd agree.
And that was with their defense just being straight up bad. It was bad.
Well, it's all on the shoulders of the offense.
And that's the part I didn't see coming. The thing I did not see coming was that Jalen Hurts would just throw this team on his back and go, I don't care how bad you are, I'm going to go be a dog. But I'm going to re-reference what I said in the opener. How in the world are you going to keep this this talent? Because this is one of the most unbelievably talented teams you'll ever see. They don't have many weaknesses. They need a linebacker horribly. Howie, buddy, you got 2 picks in the first round. If one of them's not a linebacker, I'm going to need you to explain that. But we don't do that. Yeah, and if you had, you probably would have a big old trophy in your trophy case right now. But you didn't, and you don't. So there's that.
I was kind of appalled by the defensive showing, and to me it wasn't. Yes, they played poorly, but the first half they played so well that, I mean, that game should have been, had it not been for Jalen Hurts fumbling and Nick Bolton returning the this absolute freak play back for a touchdown.
What's the freak play? How is that a freak? I've heard you're about the 4th person I've heard say that today. Where's the freak play?
Because he dropped the ball. You don't normally see a quarterback just drop the ball and then kick it away from himself.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How many quarterbacks in the NFL play the way Jalen Hurts does? Even in that ballpark of, you're a big athletic quarterback that uses your legs. I'll say 35% of the time. Because there's 3. Who are they? You got Jalen Hurts.
Lamar Jackson.
Nope, Lamar's little. No. I'm talking big athletic quarterbacks.
Big athletic.
There's 3 of them. Josh Allen, Justin Fields. You know what they all do? All of them, they all have this in common.
Security, yeah.
They fumble a lot. And you know why? Because asking your quarterback to run like that is stupid. There's a reason these quarterbacks never win these games. Point blank, because what turned that game last night? 2 epically bad plays by Philadelphia. 1, Jalen Hurts fumbles on himself. Take it back for a touchdown. You got just, if you want to complain about officials, I'm going to want to talk about that other fumble that was called back that I'm still dumbfounded how you unwound it.
That was an
100% was a
incomplete
fumble.
pass.
100% was a fumble. I've watched it 50 times. I literally could give you 5 examples of that exact same play where it was called a fumble.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to talk about inconsistency in officiating, okay, let's go back here. Okay, got both hands, football move. That's a fumble.
Yeah, but his feet weren't even hardly on the ground.
But were they on the ground? Yes, they were on the ground.
Yeah, but you have to take at least a step.
Or make a football move, which he did. Which he 100% did. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
These guys never win these games, and that's why. This is why Josh Allen can't win big games. Because invariably, when you run like that, you're going to do that one thing that Pat Mahomes just never does.
Mm-hmm.
Pat does not do that. You never see him with that just, what in the world was that? And the 2 times I've seen him lose high-level games was when he did.
Mm-hmm.
He did it against Tampa Bay,
yep.
And he did it against Cincinnati last year.
Yep.
That is my problem with quarterbacks that, and I'm not going to lie, at this point I'm putting Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, I'm going to put those 2 in a category by themselves, and then Justin Fields is in the others receiving votes.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to commit that turnover. Jalen Hurts was perfect last night for, I think they ran 67 plays.
Mm-hmm.
He was perfect for 65 of them.
Yep.
And you still lost. And as time goes on, the talent is going to atrophy because it just does. You can't go from paying your quarterback $5 million to paying him $50 and think that the roster is going to look the same. It's just not. And I think last night was probably his best chance. Now, I'm going to put him in a category of several others. Here's a comp I never thought I'd make. Dan Marino.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your fault that your game is kind of specific. And I'm not so sure how you fit in the modern NFL. And it's all because of Pat Mahomes. Bill Buttigieg said something in our YouTube stream here that I think is brilliant. Stop comparing Joe Burrow to Pat Mahomes. Pat's in a league of his own.
Yeah.
He is. Right now, he is in a league of his own. You can't make mistakes. You can't have that weird fumble where nobody actually touched you. You just squeeze it and it goes back for a touchdown. That's what beat you.
Mm-hmm.
You outplayed this team pretty convincingly for a lot of this game. But you couldn't put them away.
Right.
Because you gifted them a touchdown. You should have gifted them another one. And then you can't defend a punt return. And you let Kadarius Toney go for one of the longest punt returns in Super Bowl history.
Mm-hmm.
That sets everything up. If you look at this box score, you would think Philadelphia absolutely dog-walked Kansas City. If you had not watched the game, you're just looking at statistically how this went. You would look at this and go, there is absolutely no way Kansas City won this game.
Right.
And yet they did.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they did.
And it always comes back to the one thing. I got more experience. I got more will to win. I got better coaching than you do. I for real changed my mind about Nick Sirianni last night.
I'm shocked it took you seeing that.
I know.
Nick Sirianni
you have
is
been a doubter of Nick Sirianni the whole time.
Do you see why now?
Yes, I absolutely see why
because
now.
he's the loud. He's Johnny from the docks that just screams at the top of his lungs because he was born on third base and acts like he hit a triple.
Mm-hmm.
No, dog. You're actually the reason that they're not planning a parade right now. It's almost entirely on you.
Mm-hmm. I will agree.
And it's not surprising to me in the least, especially when you go up against the wizard of the NFL, which is what Andy Reid is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, I thought he would pull way more out of the bag of tricks last night than he did. That was a pretty straightforward game plan of I'm just better than you. And if I wait you out, you're going to do those just handful of little things that will get you beat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what they did.
I think you were right. If there's other than him being Patrick Mahomes and him doing, him being the catalyst and the quarterback of this team, it's the only reason he got the MVP. I think it should be a group award, and we should give it to the offensive line. I was really impressed with the offensive line last night.
Well, both lines were phenomenal, to be really honest with you.
Yes, they were.
They were phenomenal.
They were. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We'll take a quick break, and we'll get just a bit outside.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
After winter this past weekend, it's an uphill climb for Valentine's. We'll switch to the above average numbers now with south winds taking over the forecast here. 32 degrees our low tonight, mostly cloudy, warmer on Valentine's Tuesday, high 60 degrees. Wednesday, cloudy, 65, and some 1-inch rains cruising in for late week on Thursday. Temperatures in the low 60s Thursday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You might not have the biggest garage on the block, but with eBay Motors, there's 122 million parts right at your fingertips, whatever you need. There's something that fits your vehicle: air filters, tires, seat covers, and more. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
No one has the same taste as you.
You damn right.
From the music you love to the podcasts you can't live without. And only the iHeartRadio app has it all for free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Ingles 2023 Southern Conference Downtown Dribble and Kids Fest, presented by Champion Credit Union, will be held Saturday, March 4th, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Roger McGuire Greene at Peck Square Park. The Downtown Dribble will feature interactive games, inflatables, pep bands, cheerleaders, and parade. Each participant will receive a basketball, Downtown Dribble t-shirt, and a ticket to the noon session quarterfinal basketball games. Check-in will begin at 9:30 a.m. at Roger McGuire Greene. To register, visit downtowndribble.eventbrite.com.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. And, this whole going to college to play video games thing is still relatively new to me. Obviously, I'm older than dirt. And the esports thing is all cool. And now I think I believe we may have found our next underwater basket weaving major, because Syracuse University is creating an esports major. Now it's going to be cool. This is one of the fastest growing sectors of the tech industry. Thank you very much. Of the tech industry right now. Now there are good classes that these guys are going to be taking, like, and gals, business courses and things like that, designer courses on how to, make video games and things like that. But, I mean, if you'd have told me when I was a kid that there would be a possibility one day that a kid could go to college just to play video games, I would have signed up for that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I can't wait to see somebody that graduates and goes, I can't find a job. No kidding. You majored in video games.
Bingo.
Okay,
this is the new one.
I'll be honest with you, and I'm not going to get into real specifics here, but we've had an issue around Radio Ranch for the last week, and seeing what a modern day technician. I'm scared because I can't fix anything. So I am beholden to there being people that can fix things.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm watching most of those people fade into retirement age, I'm getting really worried of, so what do we do when things break? Because nobody under the age of 30 seems to have any idea how to fix it.
This is the millennial generation's version, though, of the art degree.
At Sports Tank ESPN.
I mean, you can at me if you
specifically
want
did
to.
not say a major.
How many people do you know with an art degree that are bussing tables somewhere?
At Sports Tank ESPN. I specifically didn't say a major, just so I wouldn't catch the backlash.
19th century French poetry.
Yeah.
I majored in Sanskrit. Awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, I majored in binge drinking, so I don't really think I'm the one that should be casting aspersions here.
Obviously, there is
my GPA and my blood alcohol levels stayed about the same, which is why I talk about sports on the radio.
Obviously, there's a lot of money to be made in esports, but here's the thing: how many students do you think are going to take this and then actually get a job in esports?
Who knows? Maybe it'll be some, because I mean, God only knows. That's what we really need to build our society: is more people that know how to build video games.
Right.
Speaking of things that we need to fix today. All right. Today needs to be fixed.
Okay.
And Tennessee, they're pushing it to they're pushing this to make Super Bowl Monday an official holiday.
Yes,
so there was some backlash from the story that you gave a few weeks ago because for some reason people were upset about Christopher Columbus Day. Like, I don't know why. Yeah. I do not understand. I will never understand whatever. I have a solution. So Tennessee is writing up a final version of the bill that will ultimately add another federal holiday, which would be Super Bowl Monday.
A state holiday.
Well, it's state, yeah. It's state holiday.
Yeah.
I have a solution because I had not thought of this until it was presented to me.
Okay.
You do realize Monday is a federal holiday, right? A week from today is a federal holiday.
Mm-hmm.
It's President's Day. Let me just, in theory, do we need a day for...
True international under pressure.
Do we need a day for that? Really? Or...
And, what am I doing here?
We need a day for that. Are you kidding me?
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once.
It's a classic.
Shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
We have a day for that.
Yes.
Just mush them together. I promise you, Abraham Lincoln and George Washington are not going to be upset about it. Just, okay, this is a simple fix. Or the NFL. Hey, NFL, maybe move your Super Bowl back a week. And look, I got a solution to this problem.
Well, you never
I have accomplished nothing today. And you know why? Because my life hurts. That's why.
Well, that's a personal choice.
I mean, and here's the thing. I wouldn't even get it off anyway. We're in sports.
Right.
I have to work this day. I'm looking out for you.
It would be nice. It would be nice. I mean, did you wake up this morning and on time? Did you make it to work okay?
No.
Did you feel great about your life when you went into work? Like, oh, this is not good. I shouldn't have done that last night.
Oh, I mean, I never thought that. I just kept looking at my betus.com account going, that makes me happy.
It should be a holiday.
No doubt. Just mush them together. You don't even have to say, hey, we're taking Super Bowl Monday off. Just move President's Day.
Look, if people
do you even know why President's Day is the third Monday of February?
Because it's in between the two birthdays.
Exactly. It's not even a specific date.
We used to have two different days. We used to have Abraham Lincoln's birthday and George Washington's birthday. And then it was like, well, we can't be unfair to either of them. So now we have to have President's Day combined and put it somewhere in the middle.
You know what? We can keep President's Day. It's fine. We can even call it
True international under pressure.
We call it that day. I don't care. Just give me a reason to lay in my bed until noon the day after the Super Bowl.
I would love to take Frizzergerb's Day off.
Oh. I had to be fair there, okay? It's not just one side of the aisle.
No,
I can do it with both.
Absolutely not. Keep it
I could go all the way back to Ronald Reagan since we had a president with an IQ above salad dressing, okay? Somehow we now elect that on, hey, here's your goal for your 4-year term. Don't die. That's your whole goal. And yet that has a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, a nation of people woke up this morning and had to go to work. And you know what you got done? Nothing. You got nothing done. And you know how I know that? Because I've worked all day. And you know how many responses I've gotten? I've probably made 10 phone calls today. You know how many people even answered? 1. And you know what the response was? What in the world are you calling me this early the day after the Super Bowl? This is why I need to be your next president, because I have ideas and I can get things done.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Yes, the Super Bowl last night was just it was a coaching clinic put on by Andy Reid. But Nick Sirianni, and I have nothing against the guy with the emotional national anthem thing. People want to take shots because they think it's funny. It's whatever.
That's what I do. That's what I'm here for.
I mean, there was a little overreaction on the part of the tear ducts of Nick Sirianni during that national anthem.
Just full on waterworks.
But I'm not.
I mean, it was a very moving rendition. Yeah. I get it.
But I'm not going to criticize you for that.
I'm going to criticize you for you went to work yesterday, and you accomplished about as much as people have today.
Right.
Good for you.
There was a scene at one point in the game, I think it was in the third quarter, maybe it was early fourth quarter, where Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts are on the sidelines, and Nick makes eye contact with Patrick Mahomes, and he raises his hand and does like the Rock thing where he's like, come bring it kind of thing. Jalen Hurts had to be the mature adult in the room to put his hand down and go, stop that.
Yeah, don't do that.
That is the dumbest. Like, when your 24-year-old quarterback has more maturity than your head coach.
And it's not close.
It's just it's a small thing, but it's not. If that makes any sense to you.
Well, Steven Towner, YouTube comment said, you guys are pretty sensitive about some other dude's emotions. Because you're a head coach in the NFL, the crying thing, that's a joke. The fact that he acts like a 22-year-old frat boy that looks like he should be just crushing natty lights, that's okay for me because I'm a big, dumb animal. And I'm paid to be a big, dumb animal. It's who I am. You're the head coach of an NFL team. You ever notice nobody else acts like that?
Mm-hmm.
There's not another coach in the NFL that acts like that. There's a reason. Because it's a bad look. And then when you get absolutely annihilated by somebody's papaw that takes the kids to Denny's on summer Mondays, it's a bad look. It's a bad look. And he's done it all year long. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, the day that I turned on him, I never particularly liked him in the first place. The day that he turned into Rob Gronkowski in Indianapolis, going, this one was for Frank. Frank has nothing to do with you. And the fact that you go in here and first of all, let one of the worst teams in the NFL stay close with you, and then you have this bravado of, you understand that this whole 60 minutes was bad for you, right? And you have absolutely no self-awareness whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those people that I feel like if you could get the Eagles in a room and make them tell you the truth, they would go, yeah, he's a moron.
Yeah.
And we're really tired of his act.
Yeah.
Like this team is too good for Bush League antics like that. And that's what's rubbed me wrong about him all year long.
Now, you said Jalen Hurts. You don't think Jalen Hurts will ever win anything. I don't
know that you can win in this league that way. Not in an era with – if Pat Mahomes was abducted by space aliens, okay, maybe you got a shot. And this is where I will compare Mahomes to Burrow. There are a couple other guys like that too. That you ever notice that the only people that beat them are each other?
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for that.
See, I don't think it has as much to do with his physical limitations or his inability to manufacture touchdowns or whatever. I don't think it has anything to do with his football ability, because I think last night he showed he is a borderline elite quarterback
and lost.
And
lost. He outplayed Pat Mahomes. It wasn't close. He outplayed him, period.
Yeah.
You have the best offensive line in the league. You have one of the best accumulations of receivers. You're not going to continue to have that. You have been propped up because you're, at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to do the same things Pat Mahomes did. If Jalen Hurts had a night last night like Pat had in the first half, they'd have been down by 30. Straight up, it's just where you would have been. And yet, Kansas City finds a way to score even when they're not playing well. And you can put that on Andy Reid. You can put it on Pat Mahomes. You can put it on Travis. You can do whatever you want to. The problem is, this is the best accumulation of talent he's ever going to have. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
Because you got a bunch of key free agents going into this offseason. There's probably no team in the NFL that has more snaps that are going into free agency than Philadelphia. You can't bring them all back.
And you could have several guys just hanging it up.
Outside of Kelsey, I don't know who else that would be.
Lane Johnson, because of the injury history and all of that.
He's 32 years old.
He could.
That would shock me.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. At some point, this is going to atrophy. And you may be right. This may be the best shot that he ever has. I expect them to be right back in the chase next year.
I'm not going to I would agree with that. Tomorrow we're going to do our way too early power rankings for next year.
Yes.
And this is based on we're going to do a lot of off-season stuff. It's going to be a fun day. Philadelphia is one of the hardest teams for me to rank because I cannot figure out what this team's going to look like. Because they went super all in this year. You got to remember, this is a team that was in New Orleans level cap hell 2 years ago. So there was a lot of sleight of hand magic to get here. And if you're not careful, you're going to be in the same shape 1 year from now when you have to pay him. And after last night, you're not going to get that low ball offer. If they'd gotten annihilated last night and he'd just been awful, that $35 million a year offer would not have been insulting. Now it's insulting. Last night, you were the best player on that field. And I don't even think it's a deniable. That's not an opinion. That is a quantifiable fact. And so now you're looking at a quarterback that you're going to be paying $50 million. Gage Camplin.
I'm your huckleberry.
The NFC is super weak. And for right now, you're right. Those things are very cyclical. And you got a lot of players, you got a lot of teams that either have money or have draft capital. The NFC is not going to be absolutely awful next year. Something we're going to talk about the next hour. They've already put out Super Bowl odds for next year, and they're quite interesting to me.
Okay.
We had one more super chat that we missed.
I'm your huckleberry.
It's from our buddy Colin. Said, to be honest, Nick Bolton should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl. That man was all over the field last night, as was Willie Gay. You're 100% right. I wouldn't have been mad about Nick Bolton.
Yeah. I just don't think after the second half that he had, you could not give it to Patrick Mahomes. Not give it to Patrick Mahomes.
It was a sight to behold.
Had Patrick not thrown for 3 touchdowns in that second half, he probably would have strongly considered Nick Bolton.
I would have strongly considered Pacheco. And I stick with what I said earlier. If I had a vote, it would have gone to Jalen Hurts.
Again, I'm going to reiterate what I said before the break. I think it should be a group award more than anything, and that offensive line for Kansas City was just great. I mean, there was no pressure from the Philadelphia Eagles. That team that racked up 78 sacks throughout the season had 0 last night. They had 5 quarterback hits on Patrick Mahomes in the first half and didn't touch him in the second half.
Nope.
At all. I was dumbfounded with the way that offensive line held together. And everybody's...
And I'll be honest with you. That goes back to what I said in the entire lead up to this. Iron sharpens iron. It was very obvious to me in the second half. And I didn't mention this to you before the show, but I'm curious to see what you say about this. Was I the only one that it was abundantly obvious that one of these teams had played a ton of close games against high-level teams? They didn't panic. You're down 10. You've been totally outplayed, and they just came out and put on a masterclass. And the other looked like they hadn't seen adversity all year long. Because the minute things started going sideways, all of the play call absolutely went to pot immediately. Went away from the run game. Miles Sanders becomes absolutely a ghost. Because you haven't done this. You've been blowing teams out all year long. You've been blowing out bad teams predominantly. You haven't played many of these type of games. Kansas City's probably at 10. You had 2.
Yeah, I didn't.
And it showed, to me, it showed in droves in that second half.
I did not think that way. I only thought that way about the defense because the offense was fantastic.
Not in the second half, it wasn't. Not in the second half, it wasn't. You scored 10 points in the entire half. You got across the 50-yard line twice. No, that's not elite by any stretch of the imagination. The offense was great in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Spagnuolo made an adjustment at halftime, and Nick Sirianni couldn't figure it out. They didn't get past the 25-yard line until there was 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not elite offensively. Not in a game like this. You cannot do that against Pat Mahomes. That was my fear going in.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when they stop punting? You don't see the punter for 2 quarters. Now what?
Yep.
I saw him for Philadelphia. I didn't see him for Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
They kept scoring. Philadelphia didn't, and that was the difference in the game.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN. Asheville continue the overreactions from Super Bowl 57. Kansas City Chiefs are victorious 38-35 over the Philadelphia Eagles. And we will have more coming up after the Sports Center update at the top of the hour. Also next, Jeremy's Bangers for the night. He's got some basketball action and, of course, taking his victory laps on all of his prop bets that he hit. And congratulations on that. You were right. I was wrong. And
it was a good night.
We shall move on. It was a fantastic night. Either way, I came out of that game thinking, not feeling like I had completely just pooed the bed on my prediction because it was so close. And had there not been just a few miscues by the Philadelphia Eagles, that could have been a different story. But there again, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, they took over and they won the day. We'll be back right after this.
Valentine's Day, everything has to be perfect.
Yes, Chef. At Ingles, we know that not every Valentine's Day is 4-star perfection with string quartets and swanky restaurants.
My boyfriend bought me flowers.
That it's not the money you spend or the elaborate lengths you go to.
Happy Valentine's Day.
It just has to come from the heart. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Dancing crew, trip for two, nail the final interview. Game with Doug, brand new mug. Come here, kid, give me a hug. The more you want to do, the more we want to do. New COVID-19 boosters designed for recent Omicron variants are now available. Learn about eligibility and schedule a free updated booster today at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Pennzoil Platinum can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $37.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to ESPNAVL.com.
Coffee's for closers only.
Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power.
That watch costs more than your car.
Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Nothing like walking off a winner in the finale of the football season. Tails, Stapleton on the anthem. Some of you got on the wrong side of that number, took a bad beat, but hopefully you got it back with the purple Gatorade that they didn't even show. Over 51. Chiefs plus 1.5. Let's go. Football season's over, but it's a great time to crush some futures that we'll get into later this week. Tonight's a big basketball night, though, so let's get into some bangers. This is Greene on Greene, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. Number 6, Texas is a 4-point favorite tonight at Texas Tech. Texas has dealt with a ton of adversity this year and still managed to be one of the best teams in the country. Fun fact about the Horns, they have 5 losses on the year, and they're all against good teams that are in the top 22 of the Ken Pom Power Rankings. Tonight, they take on a Texas Tech Raiders team that, good news, they're a lot of things, but one thing they ain't is good. This should be an absolute bloodletting, and I'm shocked this line's so low. Hook 'em by $1 billion. To the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder are a 2.5-point favorite tonight at home against the New Orleans Pelicans. Over-unders 236.5. If you love old-school, hard-nosed defensive basketball, this game is the thing of your nightmares. Neither one of these teams can play dead in the Western defensively, but they're both fun to watch score. No Zion for Nola is the swing for me. This would be an absolute kill spot for him, but he'll be in street clothes on the bench. The Thunder have been awesome in spots like this on the year. They're 7-3 against the spread in games where they're a home favorite, and I think that continues tonight. Thunder minus 2.5 and absolutely hammer the over in a game that might throw up 203 quarters. And finally, the New York Knicks are a 2.5-point favorite tonight at home against the Brooklyn Nets. Over-unders 223.5. Man, what a difference a week makes. 10 days ago, the Nets were built around 2 superstars. Now, Kyrie Irving's in Dallas, Kevin Durant's in Phoenix, and this Nets roster is built around Cam Thomas and Spencer Dinwiddie. Ugh. The Nets have won 9 of their last 10 against the Knicks, but I feel like those days have come to an end. NYC's a Knicks town again, and like our buddy Bert Kreischer says, secret time, this team can flat out score. I can't find a way that Brooklyn's going to be able to hang with them. Give me the Knicks. I'll give the 2, and I'm going over 223.5. For more, follow us on all the social medias at The Sportsocracy. And as always, Greene on Greene is brought to you by Ingles Markets. Love the savings with Ingles. Love the winnings with me. Mull it out.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
After winter this past weekend, it's an uphill climb for Valentine's. We'll switch to the above average numbers now as south winds taking over the forecast here. 32 degrees our low tonight, mostly cloudy, warmer on Valentine's Tuesday, high 60 degrees. Wednesday, cloudy, 65, and some 1-inch rains cruising in for late week on Thursday. Temperatures in the low 60s Thursday. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria-Moore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting Stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with autosave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Staples Print and Marketing is committed to quality and printing perfect every time. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more. Offer ends $225. See staples.com/stores/printbig for details. Try Staples and see the difference.
Hey, it's Nate Burleson. Check out my new podcast, The Process with Nate Burleson. It debuts with my first guest, Rihanna. Her interview was just a taste of the heat we will bring you here on The Process. I'll talk to A-list celebrities, athletes, and visionaries about their process. What steps did they take to achieve greatness? New episodes of The Process with Nate Burleson drop all year long on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you find your podcasts.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
I'm Christine Lisi. No plans to ride off into the sunset just yet for Chiefs coach Andy Reid after a second Super Bowl championship in 4 years. Considering what the future looks like for Kansas City, Reid is more than happy to return in 2023.
The organization that Clark Hunt's put together has been tremendous. The coaching staff, the players, it's a good, solid organization. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and got this guy over here that is a pretty good player. So, I mean, we're doing okay.
Andy Reid, this guy, of course, quarterback Patrick Mahomes, the Super Bowl 57 MVP, will be joining Canty and Carlin at 6:20 Eastern. Major League Baseball's extra inning, extra runner rule will remain, according to ESPN's Jesse Rogers. In all regular season games moving forward, a runner will be placed on second base from the 10th inning on in a tie game until a winner is determined. Alabama #1 in the Associated Press Top 25 men's college basketball poll for the first time in 20 years. Houston's #2 with Purdue at #3.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy, and we are live in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, and of course the Sportsocracy heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app, and you can also see us everywhere you go with your smartphone or whatever device. Just dial us up on YouTube. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel so you can get into the chat with us each and every day, and we will highlight all the best comments throughout the day. We've already had some super chats today from Gage Camplin. I think
and our buddy Colin.
And Colin had one as well. Yesterday was so much fun. The Super Bowl, the atmosphere at the Village Porch was great. Food was great. Libations were great. Everybody was having a good old time.
I'm a little worse for the wear today.
Nobody got out of hand, which I was impressed with.
Apparently you set a pretty high bar for me, and that's a good thing.
Everybody's got an excuse today, though. I mean, well, Philadelphia fans have excuses.
Just do it. Just do it. I'm going to yell about it. I've been waiting for this all day because I've heard this on every show.
Of course it is. You remember on Friday when I said, I hope we're talking about the officiating at the end of this game, because that means it was a close game. And every time it's a close game, somebody's always going to find something to nitpick with. With just under 2 minutes to go in the game, James Bradbury got called for defensive holding, which in a normal situation, I don't think you would do that. I don't think a referee would necessarily throw that flag. But to me, it was a ticky-tack call. But it was a hold.
I was about to say, it wasn't a ticky-tack call at all. It was a hold. It was a hold, period. And now let me explain to you why this was a hold. And, and these are not my words. This is me basically taking from the reporter pool.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the official said. You held him twice. If it had just been the one off the line, you'd have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
If it had just been the one where you tugged on him, you probably would have been fine. And here's what I cannot seem to get anybody to understand. If you don't do both, it's a touchdown anyway.
No.
There's 100% it is. 100%
He would not have caught that ball. That ball was not catchable.
You do realize he was completely stopped twice.
He was not.
Okay. I mean, literally, this is not all that hard to figure out. And it just blows my mind how people cannot figure out that slowing somebody down to that point alters the ball was 5 yards past him. You really think a man that runs the 40 in 4.6, and that's me going on the high side because he is a little older and had some knee injury issues, you really think he's not getting to that ball at full speed?
No.
You really don't think they've run that, 5,000 times?
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw the overhead and went, yeah, that's 6. If you don't hold him, that's 6 because there's no safety over the top. Here's the other part of that nobody ever seems to really think about.
Mm-hmm.
You do realize that Andy Reid has that official right beside him.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they lined up for that play, I guarantee you he looked at that official and said, watch Bradbury right here.
No.
He saw no safety over the top, so he went, this is one-on-one. This is a one-on-one back shoulder fade to the pylon. If he holds him, you better throw it. And guess what? Andy Reid gets those calls.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example that has absolutely nothing to do with football.
Okay.
For 40 years, Duke got every call.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Mike Krzyzewski.
Bingo. He's been gone an hour. They can't buy a call.
Mm-hmm.
Got completely housed by Virginia, which I cannot believe I'm saying that out loud. The better coach gets calls. Andy Reid called that play to get that call. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
He waited until give me that single high safety, and I know that safety can't get over the top. Because all Pat's going to do is loft it out there, and the minute you hold him, it's a flag. Because that is a point of emphasis of you cannot impede progress from the inside on an outside breaking route. I've heard it all year long. It's been thrown 500 times.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that irks me the most, nobody's complaining about the fact that it was a hold. It was a hold, and we all know it.
Yes, it was.
What irks me is, and I love Pat McAfee so much, you can't dictate a call by what it does to the outcome of the game. I get that it made the last 2 minutes a little anticlimactic. What would you have done had they not thrown it? I mean, all right, let's go down the rabbit hole. They don't throw it. Kansas City kicks field goal.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia marches down, scores touchdown. Are we not saying the exact opposite thing today of that was an obvious hold that you didn't call? You're not going to be happy no matter what they do.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
Not every game is decided by the officials. All right, nobody likes complaining about striped shirts more than me. If you knew me when I did athletic things, especially if you knew me as a coach, I do not like officials ever, 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 ever. That's not what decided this game.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I hate most about football is someone will always find an excuse to blame it on one pivotal call when there are so many other things that coaches say this all the time, and we just kind of take it for granted of there are so many other things that could have happened in the course of the game that would have impacted the outcome of the game. No kidding. Did James Bradbury hold him? Yes, he did. Would I have thrown that flag?
100
no,
times
I
out of
would
100.
not have.
100 times out of 100.
No. Yeah, how?
I would have.
Because
that's,
saying you
that's
would
what they have told you this all year long.
Mm-hmm.
If you tug on a guy from the inside on an outward breaking route,
Mm-hmm.
it's a hold. They've done it all year long. You know how I know that? Because Jets have a corner. I've watched him get flagged for it about 8 times.
Mm-hmm.
That's just it. Them's the breaks. And guess what? Andy Reid knew that going in.
Mm-hmm.
He knew one of 3 things can happen right here because Pat's not going to throw an interception in man-to-man coverage right here.
Right.
He's either going to loft it over his head, we'll kick field goal. It's going to be a touchdown, or I'm going to catch that flag. That's the only 3 outcomes. There is nothing bad that can happen. It's the safest throw in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I do think he would have gotten to it had he not been impeded at all.
Yeah, well,
he gets a clean break. That's a touchdown.
I was going to say, okay, I can agree with you there. If the initial contact at the line or within that 5-yard bubble had not happened, but I'm letting that go. Like, you just let him play, let him figure it out. He didn't really stop him, as you said. And then the tug wasn't, I mean, he didn't even turn him.
No, he impeded him. You don't have to turn him.
I get it.
I've heard that all day.
I get it.
I've also heard
but
this.
That's the
and
one
this,
that they call.
I've also heard this, and it just, it's Gage, buddy. It's not you. I've heard this 1,000 times today. All right, and it needs to be covered.
I'm your huckleberry.
So my only issues with the refs is the inconsistency. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
They missed one of these earlier. It's the only call that you can look at and say they missed in the entire game for this. Also, clearly not catchable. The not catchable doesn't matter.
No, it didn't.
It only matters on pass interference. On a hold, you could throw it into the 15th row. It doesn't matter because the call is while the quarterback was in the pocket, you held him. Where the ball lands is completely irrelevant. He also then followed that up with,
I'm your huckleberry.
if that's sauce, your reaction might be different. Tank, how many Jet games have you watched with me this year?
Quite a few.
How many times have I said nobody gets by with holding more than Sauce Gardner?
I've heard it a lot.
Yeah, frankly, it dumbfounds me how often he gets by with it.
But I think, and that's where everybody goes, is that there is holding on darn near every play in the NFL. Why wait to throw that flag at that pivotal moment? Did they get the call right? Yes. But again, it's a situation where I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have thrown the flag, and it did kind of take some wind out of the sails of the game because that was a 3rd and 8. If you don't throw that flag, it's 4th down. They got to kick the field goal, and now Jalen Hurts and company have 2 minutes to drive the field. Andy Reid did a fantastic job with bleeding the clock, the heads-up play by Jerick McKinnon sliding before he got into the end zone, or the outcome would have been much different, or the final score would have been much different. And you would have seen it would have reflected more what a total domination this was by the Kansas City Chiefs in the second half.
There were a handful of plays that changed the game.
I don't want to take anything away from Kansas City. And I feel like it's cheap for Philadelphia Eagles fans to try to do that.
Well,
as well.
the thing that irritates me is, you can't throw that flag in the last 2 minutes. All right, so what's the line here? I mean, what does he have to do for it to be okay? Does he have to fall down? Does he need to just – I've been watching Yellowstone.
He's got to do this.
So does he have to go full cattle roping and just take him to the ground? If it's a penalty, it's a penalty, period. And it is a penalty. There's no doubt about that. Chris D in our YouTube comment said Juju wasn't slowed down at all. Well, Next Gen Stats disagree with you. See, because here's the thing. They have chips on the jersey that tell you exactly how fast this guy's going. When he loses 3 miles an hour, that tells me he was held. It's frankly the only time I've ever figured out why that mattered was that they showed it. They showed it 100%. He was impeded. Now, do I think there is this is where I get a little touchy about if you slow these things down, they never look the same way. Watch it at full speed. Don't slow this down frame by frame and go, well, he doesn't technically. Nobody's seeing it frame by frame. It was a penalty. It was a brilliant call by Andy Reid because he knew that call was coming. And I bet you he had been whining about it for 2 quarters. Since Bradbury got by with it in the second, he probably had whined about that 50 times.
Right.
He's setting this up. So, I mean, there's a little brilliance in the play call there, and you got Sirianni and Jonathan Gannon to do exactly what you wanted them to. There's a safety over the top there. He doesn't have to tug on him. But if he lets him go, it's a touchdown. But you can't selectively choose when it's the right time to throw a flag.
I agree.
And then there's that consistency thing. There was only one other one that they missed, and it was on you. It was on you. It's not like you had one that you got housed on. Both of these calls were on you. That's the part that just blows my mind. Well, it's inconsistent. Okay, you want me to throw more of them on you? Because, I mean, I've watched every round. I've yet to find one that, Kansas City – and Dark Soul just talking about the false start thing. I don't know what a false start is anymore. I've just come to learn. You know what? Sometimes the tackle gets a 2.5 second head start, and they're just fine with it. I don't know why. I'm just tired of it. It's taken enough of my energy. I can't figure out why that's not called. It irks me too. I don't know.
It's become like traveling in the NBA. Like it just doesn't exist anymore. We just turn our heads, and I mean it helps mitigate the pass rush, which is it's an advantage for the offensive line. I don't know why that's not called either.
And it happens a lot.
It does. It does.
Like a lot. It actually almost got Joey Bosa fined aggressively. Like a lot.
Yeah.
Because he called it out and lost his mind on the sideline.
Right. I mean, if you're mad at anybody today, be mad at James Bradberry. That's all
you know
I say.
And I'll be 100% honest with you. I feel like this has to be said. Good on you, James Bradberry, to come out and go, I did hold it.
Absolutely.
And I looked dead at the official, hoping that flag wasn't coming. I knew it could.
Mm-hmm.
It was the right call. Move on. And you know what? I will give you all the credit in the world for that. I've always liked James Bradberry. I think he's a very underrated player in this league.
Mm-hmm.
But to have the wherewithal to just go, don't blame this on the officials.
Right.
Don't do that today. Don't dumb down this Super Bowl because of some phantom call that you think went the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one that did it. I know I did it. And just, you know what? It is what it is. I got to be better. And I loved his response. I think it's as sporting as you could ever want.
Mm-hmm.
Which takes me to after the break. There's something that I'm going to whine about, and it's a topic that's near and dear to my heart because it once cost me more money than you could shake a stick at, and now it's just legal, and it's the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen, and it happens over and over and over again.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Interstates are moving well and incident-free on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. Traffic volume is building but moving steadily. Sardis Road northbound is stop and go between Brevard Road and Sand Hill Road in North Asheville. Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road is slow. Hendersonville Road, no backup. Sweeten Creek Road, problem-free. Mills Gap Road, no delays. Cane Creek Road, no backups. And Overlook Road, moving well. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new Crispy Melt Taco is now at Taco Bell. It's a freshly fried shell with a melty cheese blend and your choice of seasoned beef or black beans inside. Try it today at participating Taco Bell locations for a limited time only, while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
If you're like me, when I'm working with wood, safety is my #1 priority. That's why I use the Wall Manscaper. With its patented wraparound guard and safe touch blade, it's the safest tool for whittling below the old carpenter's belt. No nicks, no cuts, no fear. So protect your package, and all of you, with a full set of Wall Manscaper tools. Groom safely, my friend.
Easy Cater presents We've Got Your Back, Up Singers.
Backing you up
So I ordered Mexican for my team at work.
with vegetarian options for Jerry.
Then I'm in a meeting and I remember Jerry's vegan.
Love the cheese.
So I text Easy Cater and they reply, no prob, we got this.
Gonna fix it for ya.
Sometimes I get vegetarian and vegan confused. Kind of like Austria and Australia.
Geography is not your strong suit.
Dietary needs? Easy Cater has your back with over 100,000 restaurants. Order 24/7 on easycater.com and know.
We got your back.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumber than a bag of hammers.
We're back on ESPN Asheville. It is the Sportsocracy. Follow us on all the social medias at the Sportsocracy. And
you can also find the 2-round mock draft that went out on Saturday.
Indeed.
I've already gotten some, there have been some nice feedback. There's been some all caps, 2Ks beside each other. No, I'm not surprised. I even specifically said in the video I have very thick skin, so.
Call me an idiot if you want.
I have a beautiful wife, and I talk about sports for a living. Your opinion's probably not going to break my heart.
Indeed, indeed. The Kansas City Chiefs are the champs. And follow up on your point, your teaser.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Kansas City. All right, one of the worst days of my entire life. It was 2005.
Okay.
It was Notre Dame against USC. And it's the first gigantic loss that Jeremy ever took in wagering that probably should have convinced me to never do it again. And it didn't. It can just convince me to do it more and then do it for a living. When did we legalize this and why? You get how stupid it is that we're allowing this, right? You know what I'm talking about.
The Bush push, yeah.
Yeah, where Jalen Hurts lines up with 7 guys on the line. Mm-hmm. You put 3 big guys behind him, and they just push him in the end zone. Mm-hmm. That is the stupidest thing I think I've ever seen in my life. And I cannot believe somebody went, yeah, let's do that. I saw somebody say, why can Kansas City not stop this? How in the world are you supposed to stop it? Put an armored car in front of him? You've got a Texas state squat champion that's just hiking the ball and allowing 10 people to push him in the end zone. How exactly are you supposed to stop that?
It's a great question.
I mean, nobody did it all year long.
I mean, I got 7 to 8 guys on the other side that could push against your 3 or 4 that you're going to be pushing the quarterback with. So, I mean, I guess that can be the argument, but I don't know. I don't know.
From a sheer schematic standpoint, there's no way to stop it short of 2 yards. None.
Yeah.
And nobody did all year long.
Right,
they ran this, I think, 36 times. Mm-hmm. It worked 36 times. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, no, that's a lie. It worked 35 times, and he dropped the ball 1 time.
He's better than his stats are better than Tom Brady's on quarterback sneaks.
You can't allow this. Because I'll go ahead and tell you, the biggest drawback, you're going to get somebody hurt. I just want
you're going to get somebody sandwiched, yeah.
Oh, no doubt. You're going to get somebody that has 3 people pushing them. They either lose their footing or something like that, and they get stuck underneath it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just telling you, it's why it was illegal for, 50 years. There's a reason we didn't allow this, and it's really stupid that we're allowing it now. Plus, it is probably the most eye-broccoli thing I've ever seen in my life. Just seeing them line up in the wing tee, knowing exactly what's about to happen, and you can't stop it.
No.
And the NFL does this better than any other sport. When you see a problem, you fix it. You better fix this. I'm just telling you, you better fix this before you get somebody hurt. And I don't want to be right, but you mark my words, I will be.
Yeah, somebody will get hurt.
I mean, Jalen Hurts is a tank.
I hadn't really thought of it from a player safety standpoint, but
we can't do anything on a kickoff, but you'll allow just a wall of humans with 3 behind them shoving somebody to. Do you see how stupid that sounds when I say it out loud? Mm-hmm. I didn't even know we had, before this season, I didn't even know we had changed that rule. And now it seems like I see this play with every quarterback that's over about 220. Mm-hmm. I mean, Will Levis will be the next one.
Yeah, absolutely.
There will be a package for him that you can absolutely not stop whoever drafts him on 3rd and 1. You will never stop them. Mm-hmm. I mean, they can call out what they're doing. It doesn't matter. So there's not a lot about the product that's not fun to watch. That's not fun to watch.
It's so funny that you mentioned that too, because yesterday part of my pregame festivities was I actually sat down to watch the 30 for 30, the Trojan War, about the Bush push and that team trying to go for 3 and.
Oh yeah, that's still. I still can't see Reggie Bush without getting angry. That was the first time I lost an amount of money that made me go, uh-oh. Mm-hmm. And rent's due, and I don't have that.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's a bad thing to do.
There's some interesting similarities between that. You had the Bush push thing, and then also you had Jalen Hurts doing his best Reggie Bush imitation, just giving the ball away in the biggest game of his life.
Well, I mean, and the thing that I think irritates me about that, the rugby scrum, which
I'm your huckleberry.
Gage just called. He said that'll be 100% banned. I agree with you. The thing that really irks me about that is the 2-point conversion play. All right, so you line up 5 wides and you just power Jalen Hurts in.
Yep.
That's going to work too, probably 99 times out of 100. That's at least a more palatable play to watch. This, hey, let's get into a rugby scrum. Nobody has any idea where the ball is, and nobody really cares. But at some point, the quarterback's going to peek out, and he'll be 4 yards in the end zone.
Right.
Maybe fix that. Kevin Vick in our YouTube comment said, that's as fun as watching somebody kneel on the ball for the last 2 minutes. Why is everybody so upset about this? Teams do that all the time.
But it's one of the worst things. It's one of the worst things about football is being able to bleed out the clock.
Save your timeouts.
Because it's boring.
Hey, don't burn your timeouts there, Sirianni, and it wouldn't be a problem.
No, I get it. But I've always looked at that as one of the drawbacks of football. It's the difference between football and baseball. You can't do that in baseball. You can't just run out the clock. Like, you still have to throw the ball across the plate.
No, you're right. In baseball, you can take 8 minutes to throw a pitch, and then maybe the person you're throwing it to will die of boredom.
But the point still stands of you still have to challenge them. You can't just run the clock out. And in football, you can, and it's just an unfortunate circumstance of the game, in my opinion.
It's 100% a strategic thing.
Of course it is,
and it was the right thing to do. Kadarius Toney just dive bombs the 1 yard line. It's the right thing to do.
Absolutely, it is.
Do I want
to?
I want to give Jalen Hurts the ball back? No, I don't.
No.
Well, it's so anticlimactic. I don't know why I have to say this, but apparently I do. This is entertainment. It's still competition, too.
Right.
Your enjoyment is not really high on their list of – and I don't know if this is a fantasy football thing. I don't know where this comes from, but I see this more and more now.
It's a lack of excitement thing. It's you're bleeding the clock out for 2 minutes. Just take your shot, be done with it, and give the other team a crack at it. And that's not how the end of football games works. If you're allowed to bleed out the clock, I'm going to bleed out the clock. I'm not going to give you an opportunity.
No.
But we want to see it.
Jalen Hurts has been a magician.
That's why everybody's upset about the James Bradbury thing, because it would have been a completely different ending had that call not been made.
Don't hold him.
I understand that. But you can
also
swallow the whistle. Let him play.
So I'm supposed to just let him. I'm just supposed to let him hold him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you do it on every other play. Well, why don't you just turn a blind eye?
God, I'm so tired of that argument. You know what? I'm going to play a fun game. A fun merch bag out of our merch store to anybody that can show me any call on Kansas City where they swallowed the whistle on a hold. I'll wait. I've watched them all, so you really good?
There wasn't one. There
was worse than that.
There wasn't a defensive
Frankly,
holding.
Kansas City played way off those receivers.
There wasn't an offensive lineman that tackled somebody in the middle of the play. See, that's
no. Now you're getting into a different call.
Of course,
this is defensive holding on a corner on the outside. If you can find me one of those where they swallowed the whistle, I will happily send you a nice grab bag of things with our little beer mug.
There you go.
I'll go ahead and tell you, you ain't gonna find it.
Your challenge has been laid down. If you wanna go back and find it, Jeremy doesn't believe it happens. And so
no. I'm saying it didn't happen in this game. It's this false narrative that people, they hadn't called it the entire game because it hadn't happened. Do you want them to make it up? You got by with one in the second quarter. It was the only time it had happened the entire game. Frankly, I told you this multiple times last night. I think this game was officiated phenomenally. Minus the fact that Miles Sanders was a fumble, and no one will ever convince me otherwise.
Still not.
Yeah.
Still not.
Totally was.
You got to make a move up the field, and he did not do that.
They've
been calling that the same way for 20 years.
Yeah, and it's stupid.
The ball comes in,
stupid.
you don't make a move upfield, you get hit, it comes
Well,
out.
he did
That's
make
an incomplete
a move.
pass.
He totally made a football move. He just got hit in the millisecond that he did it.
Mm-hmm.
That should be a fumble. No doubt in my mind that should be a fumble.
Yeah.
And to be frank, I think that, God, probably 20 to 30 times a year, I will see that exact play happen and go, so let me get this straight. He just drops it, and you're going to reward him? I mean, he hit him in the hands. He caught it, and he just drops it. Nope, incomplete. Shut up. It's kind of like the surviving the ground. Did he have the ball in the end zone? Did he catch it, get his feet down? That's a touchdown. I don't care if he survives the ground. If I can twirly bird from the 3-yard line and just hold it over the goal line, touchdown. Consistency.
You're in the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville. Coming up next, we'll get weird.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
After winter this past weekend, it's an uphill climb for Valentine's. We'll switch to the above average numbers now as south winds taking over the forecast here. 32 degrees our low tonight, mostly cloudy, warmer on Valentine's Tuesday, high 60 degrees. Wednesday, cloudy, 65, and some 1-inch rains cruising in for late week on Thursday. Temperatures in the low 60s Thursday. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria-Moore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Haywood County, 40 westbound, stop and go between NC 209 and US 276. Hendersonville Road moving well. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. In North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound at Edgewood Road, traffic is slowing. Checking the drive time from downtown Asheville to Asheville Regional Airport via 240 westbound and 26 eastbound. Drive time 18 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. What makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination? Because they offer free battery testing and charging and reliable replacement batteries starting at just $79.99. And they've always got your battery solution. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
If you're like me, when I'm working with wood, safety is my #1 priority. That's why I use the Wall Manscaper. With its patented wraparound guard and safe touch blade, it's the safest tool for whittling below the old carpenter's belt. No nicks, no cuts, no fear. So protect your package, and all of you, with a full set of Wall Manscaper tools. Groom safely, my friend.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
We are back in the Sportsocracy, and it is time to get weird. And a classic movie, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. We know, Jeremy, you've never seen it.
No, but I think I saw one of their dances during Rihanna's halftime show last night. I saw the Lollipop Guild. I feel very sure of that.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, one of my all-time favorite movies as a kid. Still enjoy it to this day. And we had a scene from that movie play out at a local, or not a local, but at an American candy factory. Up in Pennsylvania at the M&M Mars factory in Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania, we had two workers who were working on that, whatever, they were maintenance workers, working above a vat of chocolate, and they fell. And they fell into the chocolate, all Augustus Gloop style. And now OSHA has come down and slapped M&M Mars with a $14,500 fine for, well, not having their maintenance guys apparently trained up on all the safety procedures that you're supposed to follow when you're working around the giant vat of chocolate. Here's the, like, can you imagine finding yourself in this position of, I don't know, you're dangling over an open vat of chocolate and then fall in? I mean, that's every fat guy's dream.
Not mine.
The problem is,
we're formerly fat guys. I'm not sure that would have ever been my dream.
Well, you don't like sweets all that much.
I don't, and I don't like to be sticky. Like, just,
yeah,
okay. I was always that kid that fix it.
It sounds like it would be a fun thing until you find out that, well, once they fell into the tank, they couldn't get them out of the tank. And the only way that they were able to rescue them was to take a crane, raise the tank, and cut the bottom out of it. So it was like, opening up a giant flush valve to get these two guys out of it. One of them had to be flown to the hospital in a helicopter. It was not the dream that you might think it is. But I just think that's hilarious. I want some video of that.
Stephen Tao called out my lack of knowledge on Oompa Loompas because apparently the Oompa Loompa was in Willy Wonka.
Yes.
And the Lollipop Guild is in The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Well, I've never seen either of them, so I think I should just get some credit for getting the little dancing things reference.
That's why I did not call you out on it, because I knew you didn't know the difference.
I didn't. Something that I do know now that I didn't know before last night is something called Tubi. Do you know what Tubi is?
It's a TV
It's a streaming service.
Yeah.
Well, they had a Super Bowl commercial last night that caused a lot of uproar. If you didn't see it, apparently Tubi is it's like HBO Max or any of these streaming services. Yes. So it shows up in that little bar at the bottom of smart televisions. So they had a commercial last night where Greg Olsen and Kevin Burkhardt come back, and it looks like they've come back to the game. Well, then the little Tubi thing pops up, and they start flipping through all these things that are on this service, and they finally settle on Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, I was not the only one that thought somebody had touched the remote.
Oh, it was that moment where the hair stood up on the back of your neck going, don't do that, don't do that!
No!
It's a great marketing ploy.
Well, kind of. You remember that line that says no publicity is bad publicity?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, tens of thousands of people have deleted Tubi off of their televisions because they're so angry at the commercial. And they have been getting complaints all day long about getting full because they started fights with people in their house. Like yelling at family members for sitting on the remote.
Okay,
there are just page after page of tweets of I yelled at my grandfather because I thought he had changed the television channel.
You know what? Be nice to your grandpa.
My wife is not talking to me because I thought she sat on the remote during the game. Thanks a lot, Tubi. There are thousands of these.
That is your own damn problem. If you were so quick to turn around and say something to your wife that you can't take back, That's a you problem.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I saw your reaction, and it was who has the remote.
It was.
Who has the remote?
It was, and then I quickly went, oh, that's a commercial. Like, it took me a split second to figure it out.
It was awful. It was awful.
It was
no,
not.
I don't even know what Tubi is. You are banished, Tubi. You shall not live on my television. Stupid Tubi. It's a stupid name, too.
Just because it made you clench up for a second, you're just gonna ban the whole thing.
It's no better than the second best word that ends in ubi.
What's the?
You'll
first?
get it in a minute.
Nope, didn't get it.
You will in a minute. And somebody will probably put it to YouTube, Jed, if I had a wager.
Please do, because I have no idea what he's talking about. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
all
it.
right.
Yeah.
You're such a child.
I am a child.
You are
I am
such
a child. Yeah, I'm 6. I am a very large 6-year-old child.
Yeah.
But Tubi was not the only problem we had last night.
Okay.
Apparently, even spending $800,000 on the field doesn't mean you can run on it.
Yeah, and I can't figure out. I just can't figure out where your head's at. Like, hey, we've never used this grass before. Let's just trot it out during the biggest game of the year.
And you had been doing social media campaigns about how this was the field of the future. And now you have conspiracy theorists that actually think the NFL knew what they were going to get. And this was their way of telling the players, you don't actually want real grass. I think that might be one of the great reaches I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's some tinfoil hat Jeremy Greene stuff right there.
Hashtag bird not real.
Yeah, right. No, the NFL did not do this on purpose.
No, it was bad. Bad.
I just wish that we could get an explanation of why it occurred. Because the grass, they've been working on this for 2 years. It was
they even walked it.
Right.
They walk their grass.
Well, they always
They
do
take
that.
it outside so it can
Right.
get some Arizona sunshine.
Well, of course you do, because you don't want the grass to die inside. You don't want it to completely be in shade all the time. So, yeah, when they built the big barrel cactus down there in Arizona, they put the track on it so that you can roll the field outside, get it the sunlight, and all that kind of thing. The problem was, I don't know, when they brought it back in.
It was really slick.
Right, like it was, and I don't know if it's the type of grass or if it was the irrigation that was making it do that, or if you watered it too much, or when you brought it back in, like some weird condensation just like it formed on all of the individual blades of grass, and it became one of the slipperiest surfaces you've ever seen for a football game where it's not raining.
I look, I am far from a landscaper. I have very limited knowledge of grass. I didn't even try it in college. But I feel like
good for you.
What you just said, it's a 6-year-old thing again.
Yeah.
I feel like what you just said about what could possibly have been the problems with the grass is like when I take my cars to Fred Anderson Nissan and go, is it the radiator? That's the one part I know.
How else can you explain it? Because they've already ruled out the paint.
Everybody always blames the paint.
Right.
Okay, so the paint is not going to be the problem on real grass.
Mm-hmm.
Now on turf, that can be especially like old turf.
Yes.
Back before it was when it was artificial.
Yeah,
like
back in the
carpet,
Ironhead Hayward days. Remember, like
the old Veterans Stadium where it was like 2 inches of carpet that sat on top of concrete.
Right. I will never get him out of my mind. I think that was like the 1998 NFC Championship game. I think they were in Minnesota, or they may have been in Atlanta for it. Anyway, I will just never forget Ironhead Hayward coming up out of the pile with just skint arms because the turf was so rough.
So apparently the guy, and his name is the Sod God.
Yes.
He is 94 years old, and this was like his swan song in the NFL. And the only way I can compare this is to Ray Liotta's swan song being Cocaine Bear. You did all of these amazing things, and the only thing that I will personally remember you for is Cocaine Bear. Father. I'm sorry. I thought it was.
You need to see more. You need to see more Ray Liotta movies if that's going to be the thing you remember him for.
Well, I mean, in the greatest cinematic work of our time, which is Cocaine Bear, soon to be replaced by Cocaine Shark. Let's go. Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Soldier said the turf is Tahoma 31, which is a hybrid of two types of Bermuda and ryegrass.
Yes. And they have been concocting this. It was created at Oklahoma State University by some science whiz, and it's supposed to be the toughest grass. It recovers quickly. It's disease, resistant. All of these things. It's supposed to be the greatest and latest, and it's apparently not.
I just don't understand. How is this you have one job, okay? It doesn't have to be like ornate grass. Have you ever been watching a football game? And maybe, I am too close to this and I can't see the forest for the trees. But have you ever been watching a football game and gone, oh, look how beautiful the grass is?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you have, okay, you pay way more attention to details than I do.
Yes.
I just learned we had a dishwasher at Radio Ranch, and I've been here for 5 years. So details are
not the most
my
observant,
thing.
right?
No,
which is weird for a comedian, but okay.
Oh, I mean, I observe big things. I don't observe, hey, where did that lamp come from?
Right.
My wife's been doing that to me for 5 years. She'll just randomly switch lamps and wait for me to notice.
Mm-hmm.
Not my thing.
I mean, I do.
I don't care.
I notice a nice lawn of grass. With the best of them. When you turn 40, that's what you do. You start recognizing the grass and how beautiful it is. But you also look at it and go, okay, well, these are finely tuned athletes, and somebody is going to tear something.
For me, grass is a lot like people's bathing habits. If I notice it, it's not because it's good. It's because it's bad. I've never looked at a person and said, man, you look really clean. Now, I have, on the other hand, looked at some people and gone, you need to wash yourself.
You need to be clean.
All of it.
Right.
Frankly, if you could get some high-end industrial cleaners in there, maybe a salve or two, that'd be great. That's where I'm at with grass.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's bad, I don't notice it.
Right.
And last night it was bad. And it was obvious early.
It was bad.
When you start seeing multiple guys switching their cleats one drive into the game,
mm-hmm.
Things have gone awry.
Yeah, they had to go through cleat changes and wardrobe shifts and all of that to get their footing. I mean, Hassan Reddick was talking about it after the game, saying that, there were times where he had his man beat. He tried to turn the corner and just couldn't. His feet went right out from underneath him. Now, did that play a major impact on the outcome of the game? No, because both teams had to deal with it.
Exactly.
I mean, I get that you want to be all upset that we can't get our footing. Well, Orlando Brown had his footing.
Yeah.
Andrew Wiley had his footing.
Yeah, they were pretty good. They were pretty good at football.
You can't really say that it benefited one other over the other. It was a tough circumstance. I just don't know whose brilliant idea this was to try a new set of grass at the biggest game of the season.
This is another one of those things where the NFL goes, "Oh, we're going to take a problem that's not a problem, and then we're going to make it a problem because we have to have the best or just grass."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we grow it at Radio Ranch in droves. It's
you don't want to play on that.
No,
you know that.
Mainly because there's like an industrial dog park back there. I mean, I get it,
hear no
but
lies.
this is not hard. It's not hard to grow grass, and yet we make it hard. And then we try to have these rock concerts. We got to have Rihanna playing on the Super Mario Brothers stage. Like, oh look, she's flying in the air. Who cares? Just get the grass right.
Kevin Vick says he's seen the turkeys at Radio Ranch. Yeah, stay out of the grass.
They're evil. I'm not going to lie, they're evil.
They are. We've got all kinds of wildlife out here.
It's one of the beauties of my brand new 2023 Nissan Rogue is that it doesn't have any metal bumpers, so they don't like to peck at my bumper. Now, Eddie's, yes. I've seen them get into some outrageous fights with themselves.
Oh, yeah. And it's quite hilarious.
Yeah.
And it makes Jeremy super nervous every time.
Oh, yeah, because they get mad, and then they realize that the other bird's not playing with them, and then they find something else to attack, and who's there? This guy.
Right.
Hashtag birds aren't real.
Stop overthinking it, NFL. Stop overthinking it. You didn't have to do that.
No.
You didn't have to bring in new grass for this to give us one more thing, one more excuse to talk about. And that's what I hate about today. What I hate most about today is all of the excuses that are being used to try to overshadow what was a phenomenal game. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. In North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road is slowing. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road moving problem-free. Bavard Road, no backups. Long Shoals Road moving well. Airport Road, no backups. Checking the drive time from Swannanoa to Asheville via 40 westbound and 240 westbound. Drive time 16 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. What makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination? Because they offer free battery testing and charging and reliable replacement batteries starting at just $79.99. And they've always got your battery solution. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance, we personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
You're gonna feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The new Crispy Melt Taco is now at Taco Bell. It's a freshly fried shell with a melty cheese blend and your choice of seasoned beef or black beans inside. Try it today at participating Taco Bell locations for a limited time only, while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
The Ingles 2023 Southern Conference Downtown Dribble and Kids Fest, presented by Champion Credit Union, will be held Saturday, March 4th, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Roger McGuire Greene at Peck Square Park. The Downtown Dribble will feature interactive games, inflatables, pet bands, cheerleaders, and parade. Each participant will receive a basketball, Downtown Dribble t-shirt, and a ticket to the noon session quarterfinal basketball games. Check-in will begin at 9:30 a.m. at Roger McGuire Greene. To register, visit downtowndribble.eventbrite.com.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business, and we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
Was it the best Super Bowl of all time? No, I think that's a little recency bias.
Oh, absolutely. That's what we do. It's the most recent thing we saw, so it's the greatest ever.
But it is up there. I mean, just the second half performance from the Kansas City Chiefs, and it was just all phases of the game. All phases of the game, they were just amazing. That one 17-play drive that they had that ate up like 7 minutes of clock was just crazy.
Well, You got to give credit to Sean Payton, who before the game said special teams is a heavy lean to Kansas City.
Oh, it was.
And then it bared itself out.
Absolutely. Absolutely it was. That return by Kadarius Toney was, that was a backbreaker. You knew after that it was just all over but the crying. That's also why I don't really, we talked about the holding call on James Bradbury and all of that. I'm still not sure I'm still not sure you would have been able to win if you'd have not gotten that call.
Well, then they kicked field goal. They kicked field goal, you'd had a minute and a half to go down and score.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that would be a more palatable finish. Sometimes you just don't get that.
Right.
I feel like we've gotten very spoiled with the Super Bowl because we haven't had a bad one in
a while.
Forever.
Yeah.
Even Kansas City, Tampa Bay, it wasn't the bloodletting that everybody makes it out to be. They put some style points on it late.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it was ever really
comfortable. It was comfortable.
It was never really in doubt, but they were within striking distance.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the old in the 90s when you had the Cowboys just beating people sideways.
Oh, yeah.
Buffalo. Sorry, Buffalo.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't the 55-17 blowout that we have seen in the past, but it's always just a great game, and there was no doubt that they got the two teams right. The best two teams.
The two best teams were here.
Yeah, the best two teams in the NFL went toe-to-toe, and the team with the better coach and the team with the better quarterback won.
And now you start the dynasty talk with Kansas City because we have to have a dynasty at all times. This is.
I don't think we're making that up.
No.
This team has
not.
ruled the AFC for the last 5 years and only came up short in a couple of those AFC championship games. And now they've won 2 out of 3 Super Bowls. So I feel like
4.
that's okay.
Rams, Tampa Bay, then Kansas City.
I'm saying they've won 2 out of the 3 they've been to. Is what I was saying.
Yeah, sorry. Travis Kelce boo-booed that too, so I thought you had done the same thing.
Yeah,
he was like, we won 2 in a row. No,
you
won 2 in 4 years.
Right.
You're close.
Right. They've won 2 out of the 3 that they've been to, and I feel like that's dynasty territory. 5 years is a pretty long time.
It is. And to start the 3 o'clock hour, or the third hour, the 5 o'clock hour, that's usually a thing you do.
That is.
We will be looking at the way too early futures odds because there are 4 teams in the top 12 of the Super Bowl odds for next year that I can't believe I'm going to say out loud.
Really?
It's 4 of the most historically bad teams in the NFL, and they're all in the top 12. And I like 3 of the 4.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot.
So our daily draft coming up after the Sports Center update. We will be taking, the best bets for next year's Super Bowl?
Obviously you got Kansas City up at the top. I was shocked how low Philadelphia was.
Mm-hmm.
That borderline, I shouldn't say shocked. Nothing really shocks me anymore with odds.
If they were behind any other NFC team, it's wrong.
They are. They are not the number 1 NFC team.
Yeah, see, I feel like that's wrong.
Dude, I don't know about that. There is another one that I like pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that I like a lot.
We'll look more into that and talk more about the future, looking ahead to next year. What's going to happen with these?
We're only 15 days away from the Combine. We're 30 days away from free agency. And 73 days of Draftmas. You want to know why Draftmas is better than Christmas? Because you get 73 days of it. Let's go!
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400 Sports Center update coming up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
After winter this past weekend, it's an uphill climb for Valentine's. We'll switch to the above average numbers now with south winds taking over the forecast here. 32 degrees our low tonight, mostly cloudy, warmer on Valentine's Tuesday, high 60 degrees. Wednesday, cloudy, 65, and some 1-inch rains cruising in for late week on Thursday. Temperatures in the low 60s Thursday. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. In North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road is slowing. Sweeten Creek Road southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road moving problem-free. Bavard Road, no backups. Long Shoals Road moving well. Airport Road, no backups. Checking the drive time from Swannanoa to Asheville via 40 westbound and 240 westbound. Drive time 16 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new Crispy Melt Taco is now at Taco Bell. It's a freshly fried shell with a melty cheese blend and your choice of seasoned beef or black beans inside. Try it today at participating Taco Bell locations for a limited time only, while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The luck of the Irish awaits you at the 16th edition of the Asheville Catholic Schools Shamrock 5K, 10K, and Fun Run on Saturday, March 11th. In addition to fun, challenging, and scenic courses in North Asheville, the Shamrock races offer the best post-race food and experience in Asheville, complete with a costume contest for the best Shamrock-themed outfits. All the proceeds benefit the O'Brien and William Edward Gibbs Memorial Scholarship Fund. Sign up now at gloryhoundevents.com. That's gloryhoundevents.com. Proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia, Asheville.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
I'm Christine Lisi. The city of Kansas City is ready for another Super Bowl championship parade. The parade to honor quarterback Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs for their second Lombardi Trophy in 4 seasons, set for Wednesday. The MVP of Super Bowl 57 is the third quarterback to win multiple Super Bowl MVPs and multiple Super Bowls. And even though he's just 27, Mahomes already among the 3 best QBs all time, in the opinion of ESPN's Dan Orlovsky.
So the guy's gone to 5 straight Pro Bowls. He's won 5 straight division titles. He's got 5 straight 12 or more win seasons. He's gone to 5 straight conference championship games. He's got 2 Super Bowl championships, 2 MVPs, and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. That's the greatest start to a career ever.
Patrick Mahomes will join Canty and Carlin at 6:20 Eastern. NBA, the Lakers' LeBron James with a sore left ankle out a 3rd straight game against the Blazers tonight. He did go through an extensive individual workout post-shoot-around today. Major League Baseball unanimously voted to make the regular season extra inning automatic runner on second base rule permanent from here on forward.
Coming up Tuesday, Jalen Hurts balled out in his first Super Bowl appearance. Yeah, they lost, but I'll tell you why. The Eagles have to pay him. That's Tuesday, 6 a.m. Eastern on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, your Overreaction Monday after the Super Bowl. Kansas City Chiefs are the champs. Patrick Mahomes is a god. And Andy Reid, well, what's better than a god? He's a titan.
He's a quadrology.
He's a
for sure.
He's a quadrology.
That's what Tennessee. It's what Kansas City's in the middle of. The quadrology.
The quadrology.
Actually, this is 5, so this is the. What is 5?
The quintology.
The quintology. Next year might be the septology.
Sextology. These 6 of them.
And this is as good
You're
as
such
it
a
gets.
child. You're such a child.
I am 6. I'm 6 years old. It's all right. It's what I do. Okay.
The Kansas City Chiefs are the champs once again, and they are the odds-on favorite to repeat as Super Bowl champions next year. I mean, after the display that you saw, it's hard to deny. I mean, we had our thoughts that maybe this Kansas City Chiefs team is going to take a step back after losing a superstar wide receiver, and they didn't. They still ended up ruling the AFC. They still ended up in the Super Bowl and winning it over the Philadelphia Eagles. It's top of the 3rd hour here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. You can hear us everywhere on the iHeart Radio app and see us everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, join us in the chat. The daily draft today is, well, there's always next year. Who's going to win the Super Bowl next year? What are the best bets? With the early odds from Caesars Sportsbook,
I am dumbfounded that in the top 12 of most likely to win the Super Bowl, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Detroit Lions, the Miami Dolphins, and the New York Jets. Jets.
Well, look,
we're not plus 10,000 for the first time in forever.
Well, look, at some point, you have to think if you keep being dog water, you're eventually going to pay off on we can build a good team. And finally, after 45 years, it appears that the New York Jets have done it. The Detroit Lions have done it. Jacksonville, not that many years, but
now, did you look at the bottom of the list?
Yes.
The 8 least likely teams to win the Super Bowl. And this starts at plus 7,000 in order. Tennessee Titans, Carolina Panthers, Washington Commanders, all plus 7,000.
Mm-hmm.
Colts and Falcons at plus 8,000. Cardinals, Bears at plus 10,000. And then the Houston Texans at plus 12,500. That means if they were to win the Super Bowl and you put $100 on it, it would pay you $12,500.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to just set money on fire, don't do that. That's crimes. It's illegal, and that's what that would be.
Right. You might as well just send your $100 to the Sportsocracy.
It shocked me that the next one was Seattle.
It doesn't.
Seattle's plus 5,500.
It doesn't shock me all that much because do you really think it's repeatable? Do you think what happened this year is really repeatable?
I'm shocked you're that low. And then you get the Saints, Patriots, Bucks, Steelers, and the Minnesota Vikings at plus 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
That seems really high for the team that was 2 in the NFC this year? I mean, look, I think there's a regression coming. I've said it repeatedly.
Right.
I was just a little surprised.
And Vegas knows. Vegas knows. They have gold fixtures for a reason. You
Absolutely.
keep saying that over and over and over again. Now,
it's one of my favorite lines.
The funny part to me is the Las Vegas Raiders being at plus 4,000.
That's because the only thing I can figure is that you're going, well, there is a possibility that Aaron Rodgers goes there.
Maybe.
And I will tell you this, and you know what? You do with this information what you will. The New York Jets hired a passing game coordinator today, and his name is one Mr. Todd Downing. If you recall, he was the OC in Tennessee, got a DUI, got fired.
Mm-hmm.
He was the reason that I said watch Derek Carr to the Titans because they had a great relationship. He went to 3 Pro Bowls with Todd Downing.
Yep.
Don't be shocked if Derek Carr is because they've already made the call on Aaron Rodgers.
They're going to get one of them.
No doubt. Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers will be the starting quarterback of the New York Jets next year.
We hired both of the guys that have the potential to, have the relationship with our next quarterback. You got Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator. He obviously has the tie to Aaron Rodgers. Now you've got Todd Downing as the passing game coordinator. He obviously has the tie to Derek Carr. This is the New York Jets telling you they're going to get one or the other.
No doubt. No doubt.
All right, who's got the first pick here?
That would be I. After I ran the table, not only did I win the regular season, not only did I win the postseason, I then won the Super Bowl for the clean sweep.
Of the Beat the Chief contest. Yes.
So,
brought to you by Clarissa
Hyatt Zach.
Yeah, Clarissa Hyatt Zach
There
of
you go.
EXP Realty.
It's kind of important. Just throw it over there. So for me, this is the easiest pick in the history of time.
Mm-hmm.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Kansas City Chiefs at plus 550. I mean, they have the shortest odds on the board, but how in the world am I supposed to bet against Pat Mahomes? And then you look at what comes back. I don't feel like this team's going to lose a lot.
No.
And that was the beauty of the Pat Mahomes deal. I told you this when he signed it. Him and Josh Allen both. You give it time, those are going to be 2 of the greatest value deals in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're there.
I would say so. I mean, the more and more these big contracts get signed, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is going to be making as much money as Jalen Hurts soon.
Jalen Hurts will be making markedly more.
Markedly more?
Markedly more. You understand, Jalen Hurts is right now there are 3 teams that are in a total standoff of who is going to blink first between the Chargers, the Bengals, and the Philadelphia Eagles. You're all 3 going to pay your quarterback. You're all 3 going to pay your quarterback a whole lot. Which one of you can agree to how much guaranteed money first?
Mm-hmm.
And I could easily see Jalen Hurts in that. I mean, he's in that Lamar Jackson realm now of what Lamar wants. $200 million guaranteed, $250 total over 5 years.
Yep.
Wouldn't shock me in the least. And Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert might end up making $500 million.
All right, you're going with the Kansas City Chiefs plus the 550. I know I said earlier that I don't know if Nick Sirianni can ever win a Super Bowl, but I think it would be foolish not to have a doubloon or two on the Philadelphia Eagles to get right back here.
I didn't have them in my top 5,
which is shocking to me because you've got the Detroit Lions on your list, supposedly.
Not in the top 5.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I would have taken Philadelphia if you got far enough down the rabbit hole. I look at the NFC and go, I think you're going to have the same problem that you had last year. Or that you had this past year of iron sharpens iron. And so you come through a conference, and I've said it's going to get better. It's not going to be in a year. You're going to have 4 really good teams in the NFC, and everything else will be, yeah, they're good. You'd be the 14 in the AFC, but you're fine.
Well, they wouldn't be the 14 in the AFC, but they'd definitely be in bottom of the top 5 or 6.
The thing that makes me nervous about the Eagles is how much they lose. I mean, they have got a ton.
Yeah, but here's the thing of what you're going to lose in this offseason. I think the biggest piece that you're definitely out on is going to be James Bradberry. And you're going to have the ability to replace him in the draft in the first round. So
that's not what I did in the mock draft. That was the one thing I changed. I have said I can't figure out where Bijan Robinson's going to land. Man, he makes a lot of sense to Philadelphia at 10. Don't re-sign Miles Sanders. Look how much better that running game is with Bijan Robinson and Miles Sanders. So it's one of those that once you see it, you can't unsee it. And look, losing James Bradberry is going to be a big deal. Could they take Devin Witherspoon at 10? Absolutely. Wouldn't shock me in the least. Wouldn't shock me in the least. They took Christian Gonzalez.
Joey Porter.
That's too high.
Really?
Joey Porter's been pushed down a little bit.
Okay.
The first 2 I said are the top 2 corners on the board. It's not close. Keely Ringo and Joey Porter, for some reason, have been put together. I hear them together a lot. And Keely Ringo has been pushed down a bunch.
Second round.
That might be a little far for me.
Right.
I kind of struggle to see how he's going to get by Buffalo. I had somebody that it was, wait till he goes to the combine. We all know what he's going to do at the combine.
Yes.
All right. I know Keely Ringo is going to run like a 4.35.
He's a Georgia athlete.
Yeah, he's a track star.
Right.
But that's already built in. You see him do it. Frankly, if he runs slower than that, he could fall like a rock. Because if you don't have those measurables, then
right.
Then you just get to the tape and go, did you fall asleep right here for a minute or two?
Philadelphia's odds are 4th. And I think that's a mistake. I really do think that's a mistake. Because here's the thing. The number 1 team in the NFC is the San Francisco 49ers. And I don't even know what you're going to do at quarterback. And
you know exactly what I don't understand why this is it's so hard for people to wrap their brains around. You know exactly what they're going to do at quarterback.
You're going to go with Trey Lance.
You're going to give Trey Lance every opportunity to win the job. If he doesn't, you're going to go Brock Purdy. And Brock will be the backup, and it'll be short leash. If Trey Lance comes out and goes 2-2, then here comes Brock Purdy. This is not hard to figure out.
Yeah, but
I've heard a lot of gnashing
like either
of
of those scenarios.
No, I mean, you got to the NFC Championship game with it this year.
Sure.
So,
and they've been doing that. They've been getting to the NFC Championship, and it hasn't gone their way yet. And I don't see that changing. Other than, look, could it change? Sure. Could Trey Lance take the step forward next year and become the great quarterback that they want him to be? Sure.
From 2 to 53, which roster do you like better, Philadelphia or San Francisco?
I think it's San Francisco.
It's San Francisco, and it's not close.
I just
not with what's walking out the door. I mean,
Right.
Philadelphia has got a ton. I mean, look, and I'm not trying to throw shade at them. I think you're going to see. I mean, you're in good shape. You have a lot of draft capital, but you're going to be going from veterans like James Bradberry, Fletcher Cox, to rookies and second-year players. Well, there's going to be a regression there. There's just no way that
you're
you
also
can't.
and I get another drawback of Philadelphia is they're going to lose their entire coaching staff. So
yeah,
I mean Jonathan Gannon's talking with the Arizona Cardinals, and Shane Steichen is going to get the Colts job in 10 seconds.
There's some very there's a low roar that Jonathan Gannon could well be the dark horse candidate. Apparently, Monty Ossenfort made a list of coaches that he wanted to get to know better because they would be on the short list. Well, 3 of them were Brian Callahan, Aaron Glenn, and Jonathan Gannon. Well, Aaron Glenn's staying in Detroit. He's already said that. Brian Callahan, I don't know why that didn't go well, but there has been a real sense that it's not going to be him. If it's one of the Cincinnati guys, it's Lou Anarumo.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of makes it make sense that it would be Jonathan Gannon.
I think that's the way that goes down. My second pick in today's daily draft, who's going to win it next year? Who's got the best odds?
There's one that I'm going to be real angry if you take.
That's the Cincinnati Bengals.
I hate you!
It's the Cincinnati Bengals. And I didn't even really think about it. Like, I had to put Philadelphia in there because I believed in them. I feel like some circumstances had been a little bit differently. They could have won that game last night and won the Super Bowl this year. I got to have them back in the game next year, right off the rip. But the Cincinnati Bengals at plus 900, they, other than Kansas City, they're probably my 2. They're probably the one that I look at and go, next year it should be your year.
They are my 2. They are my 2, and it's not really all that close. I had this laid out that you were going to take the 2 NFC teams because there's nobody else to compete with them. I was going to get Kansas City, Cincinnati, and the other one that I really wanted.
Right.
You're going to make me take San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Because, frankly, I only see 2 NFC teams. Now, I can take a flyer on some of these plus 3,000 and higher teams, but that's a big jump. I mean, every one of them, yeah, I like your talent, but you're going from either barely making the playoffs or missing the playoffs all the way to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. That's a big jump.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't tend to happen very often. San Francisco's roster is just so good. And I've said this before, I don't need the quarterback to be elite. I need Trey Lance to be healthy. I need him to be the runner that I expect him to be and just not turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going into his 3rd year in the league. I think you're going to get that. You've just barely seen him. That's the reason this Brock Purdy nonsense it's made me laugh. You do get that this guy was passed on by every team in the NFL 5 times at minimum.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason, because he has physical limitations. Brock Purdy is never going to be what you want him to be. This idea that the Jets would have taken him at 4, no, they wouldn't have. Even if they knew what they knew right now, no, they would not.
Right.
And San Francisco knows what he is. He's a great backup. I think he'd be a very low-end starter in the league in that system. But you're going to roll with Trey Lance, and that just gives that gives me a high side. I'm not going to lie, I would have taken San Francisco or Philadelphia because one's roster is so much more stable than the other.
I could see that. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Look, you got another break, Jeremy, to think about your next pick.
It's almost like there's a big clock in front of me that tells me that.
Weird. Who's going to win it next year? Who's got the odds that's worth putting a doubloon or 2 on for winning the 2024 Super Bowl? We'll be back.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slowing 26 eastbound, approaching Chimney Rock Road, beginning in the Mountain Home area. Captain Jeff Bourne Bridge, traffic volume is busy and moving well. Smoky Park Highway, no delays. Patton Avenue, incident-free. New Leicester Highway, no backups. Sweeten Creek Road, southbound delays between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. Checking the drive time from West Asheville to Biltmore Village via Meadow Road, drive time 12 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new Crispy Melt Taco is now at Taco Bell. It's a freshly fried shell with a melty cheese blend and your choice of seasoned beef or black beans inside. Try it today at participating Taco Bell locations for a limited time only, while supplies last. Contact local stores for prices, hours, and participation which vary. Tax extra.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other grocery store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA Choice and Prime meat? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home when it's time to buy. Visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl next year? What's the best bet if you're laying something down today on the future odds for the 2024 Super Bowl? That's today's daily draft. Jeremy took the Kansas City Chiefs at number 1 at plus 550. I went Philadelphia Eagles plus 800, and then the Cincinnati Bengals plus 900. It's crazy to me to think that they're not number 2 on the odds list right now. San Francisco 49ers was the last pick by Jeremy. They are number 2 at plus 600. Jeremy, where are you going this time?
Well, I love value.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one team that Vegas can't quite figure out what number to put on because they don't know what's going to happen with their quarterback. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're going to add a future Hall of Famer that might be named Captain Hiawaska. I'm going with my New York Jets. Because I knew you would do it because you're a jerk.
I would.
Because you're a jerk, and I knew you would do it, and so I had to take them.
Well, of course, because this was already one of the best defenses in the NFL. The offense obviously had a lot to figure out this year. You didn't have a quarterback, and if you were to for that stroke of genius that somebody thought of to go out and get Aaron Rodgers, you're in the mix, and you're plus 3,500.
You're down there with the Rams and the Packers and the Dolphins. All right, so ask yourself this question. What happens to their odds? Let's say we have breaking news.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers has been traded to the Jets for the number 13 pick this year and a conditional 3 that could become a 1 next year. Where do their odds go then?
Plus 1,000.
I think you're right.
Plus 1,000.
I think they would be right behind the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep. Behind the Cincinnati Bengals and ahead of the Dallas Cowboys at plus 1,600.
And I feel like the Bills' odds would come down because that was the other team I considered.
Mm-hmm.
That roster is. I feel like they've done the Lucy Charlie Brown thing with me enough times. And you know what? Maybe they need me to hop off the bandwagon. Maybe that's what you need. Maybe Asheville Police Chief David Zach and Rick Rice and all of our Buffalo Bill buddies, they need me to hop off the bandwagon so they can enjoy life.
So now you can get back to your New York Jets.
And I'll be honest, what would happen to him if all right, let's say it's Derek Carr instead?
I think it goes to
plus 2,000, plus 1,500.
I was going to say plus 25. I don't think it would be as much of a.
I mean, you got to realize the Cowboys are at plus 1,600.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like even with Derek Carr, you're in better shape than the Cowboys.
But are you in better shape than the team that I'm going to take next? And it's the Los Angeles Chargers at plus 2,200.
I knew they weren't coming back.
The Chargers are plus 2,200, and I know they've fallen short. I know that they have some coaching issues with Brandon Staley. The addition of Kellen Moore to that staff
that helps
makes
lot to
big
me.
difference. Justin Herbert is still going to have weapons. You got to think with this team fully healthy, hopefully they can stay that way.
Well, I think they're moving on from Keenan Allen. There's a report that they will release him at the beginning of the league year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you replace him with in my 2-round mock draft, I had him taking Jordan Addison.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you realize what that does to that offense? Now you have 2 big play threats.
Right.
And now I feel like with Kellen Moore, this becomes an offense where players are going to want to play here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a possibility Bijan Robinson falls right in your lap. I mean, there's just a lot of things that could happen with the Chargers. And I feel like you need to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
They've had a problem with that for several years now. Look, I'm not mad at it. I consider taking the Chargers that last
This
pick.
roster's not going anywhere.
No.
That's the thing. You went out and you spent all this money in the offseason this past year to get all these stars, and every one of them had a major injury issue at some point in the season. If you can avoid that next year, it may be a Nick Sirianni with Philadelphia thing. We don't believe in your coach, but you're still going to be in the hunt just because you have so much talent.
Well, having Kellen Moore on that side of the ball allows Brandon Staley to really fixate on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he got here for a reason. So, I mean, you shore up the defense. I think you have to add a big run clogger in either free agency or the draft. I think they're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's a formidable selection for you. Now I'm curious to see what you do next.
Well, it's got to happen eventually, right? It's got to happen eventually.
I mean, if you don't, I will.
I know. I don't necessarily believe that it's going to happen.
Is it nobody?
But at some point, it's going to happen. The Buffalo Bills are going to win a Super Bowl.
Does that mean I can do it?
And so I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills at plus 650.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
I'm not really sure what needs to change for this team other than
stop turning the ball over.
I would love to see you get the turnovers under control. Obviously, the offensive line is a problem. You're not really great at running the ball, but if you fix the offensive line and you commit more to the run, then maybe that's because I think you got the right pieces.
Can I go full conspiracy theory?
Sure.
This will be the first year in 3 or 4 years that Buffalo does not go in as the AFC favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the best thing that could happen to them. You take away the pressure. Buffalo has felt like a team that plays tight a lot. So if you take away that pressure, I mean, Vegas obviously still believes in them. They're third.
Mm-hmm.
They're the third most likely team, according to Vegas, to win the Super Bowl next year. And so, but I feel like the public narrative is going to be much lower on them. Because I'm just looking at this going Kansas City, Cincinnati. I'm not sure the Chargers and if the Jets add a high-level quarterback, I'm not sure that all 4 of them are not going to be higher in social narrative than the Bills will be because they have Lucy pulled the football out from underneath us several years in a row. So if you go in as the 5th most likely team to win it in the AFC, you can play a little looser. There's less pressure. And it could be the best thing that ever happened to them.
Yep. All right, you got back-to-back picks here, Jeremy.
This is where it gets to the, okay, now I'm going full-on conspiracy. And you know what? There's one that I feel like the number's wrong because they're down there with teams that they're better than. It's the Baltimore Ravens. Calais Campbell's coming back. If that team is healthy, for the love of all that's good and holy, can you be healthy for 1 year where you don't have 20 guys on IR midway through the year? That's a super talented roster, and they draft really well. And they're one of the teams that I feel like the draft sets up nicely for. Even though they don't have that second-round pick, you'll have an offseason with Roquan Smith. I felt like that defense was completely different with him. and you just get Lamar back. Get Lamar back. Get that contract issue off the table. Just get it done. And that's another team that I feel like you're going to play a little bit looser next year because the pressure is not on you to the same extent. I feel like Baltimore has been pushed down in the social narrative of now they're the next tier of team. Mm-hmm. They're not up there with Cincinnati and Buffalo and Kansas City. They're in that meaty area of the AFC. And it could be beneficial for them.
Absolutely. Baltimore at plus 3,500, according to Caesar Sportsbook, to win the 2024 Super Bowl. Not a bad pick by you.
There's two, and I can't physically believe I'm about to say either one of them out loud.
Okay.
One of them plays in just a much worse conference. I'm taking the Detroit Lions.
No, gosh.
I'm taking the Detroit Lions. I know that sounds insane.
It is insane.
But the NFC is so bad.
Okay, but again, the NFC is so bad. Let's say by some miracle Detroit gets out of the NFC. That means you got to be able to take down Kansas City, Buffalo, Cincinnati, maybe the Chargers.
Oh, I'm well aware.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you were doubting the Philadelphia Eagles and their ability to win a Super Bowl after the season that you had seen, I don't see how you can have faith in Detroit Lions and Jared Goff.
Because if you build this team the correct way, you can look a lot like Philadelphia. You got to realize they have one of the best lines in the league. Mm-hmm. That's not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And they're playing Penei Sewell on the right side. That's how good this line is. And you add some weapons. And look, a lot of Lions fans, when they went through the mock draft, why did we take a tight end in the second round? Because your path to righteousness is outscoring people. You're not going to go from what that defense was with a bunch of rookies. It's time to start adding veterans. You've already got 7 young guys that play a lot of snaps on that defense. So you get some high-level weapons, and you just get better offensively. And then you can shoot out with anybody. And they have one of the best offenses in the league anyway. Mm-hmm. Just still feels weird to say. And if you're even passable defensively, that could be a scary team.
Yep.
And if you look around that division, Minnesota's going to take a step back. Chicago is 2 years away at least. And Green Bay with Jordan Love. That could be 6 cakewalk wins for the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, okay.
Not many, but stranger things.
Yeah, I was going to say not many.
I'm really curious to see who your last pick is.
Well, my last pick is...
Because I had to get that cute.
Well, I think you got a little too cute.
Probably.
There is one team that we have said we won't be shocked if they're right back in the mix next year with how bad their conference is.
This was the other team I considered taking. I know exactly where you're headed.
It's the LA Rams.
Yep.
The LA Rams are plus 3,500 to win the Super Bowl next year. And look, I get that it was bad this year, but you had a lot of injuries play into that. You've got Sean McVay, obviously still the boy wonder. You've got a Super Bowl winning quarterback in Matthew Stafford. You've got Cooper Kupp coming back healthy. You have all of the advantages of an offseason here to kind of regroup and retool and fix the offensive line and all those things. If I'm putting money on somebody to win, I'm going to put a shekel on
somebody that's done it before.
Right, on plus 3,500 with a team with a great coach and a really good quarterback. And I'm going to put it way easier than I am on the Detroit Lions, who
has a better roster.
Top to bottom, I think it's Detroit.
I would agree. That's where I fell in.
Mm-hmm.
Of, okay, how many things have to go right for the Rams? Because they have no money. They have no draft capital.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not seeing that in a team like that that's so vet and so top-heavy. You need a real infusion of youth. You're the exact opposite of the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions have all the youth that they're going to get better. All of your high-end players, save 1 or 2, are on the wrong side of 30, and that's where you start seeing them regress. So you need the snap count to come down.
Yep.
I don't have anybody to replace them with.
But to me, Detroit is a team that's a couple of years away. in 2 years, the Los Angeles Rams are going to be so irrelevant, it's not going to be funny.
Agreed. I mean, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I look at that Rams roster and go, man, I wish you had picks.
Mm-hmm.
I could totally get on board with that if they had that number 6 pick that Detroit has. If you were adding a Tyree Wilson or a Devin Witherspoon on the other side of Jalen Ramsey, that's at least. I feel like you could at least fix something that you have a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how they're going to do it.
The high side we've got here for the odds. You took 2 teams. I took one team with 30 plus 3,500 odds to win the 2024 Super Bowl. If you had to go with a team that's plus 4,000 or more and just throw a dime on it, who you doing? Who are you taking?
Cleveland Browns.
That's exactly who I was thinking. It would be the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns. And I know that sounds insane, but and I'll be honest with you, I will probably have a Cleveland Browns slip.
Mm-hmm. Plus 4,500 for Cleveland.
Because their numbers just stupid. Like, that team's better than that.
Yes.
And I feel like Jim Schwartz fixes at least 30% of your problems.
Mm-hmm.
A full offseason with Deshaun Watson probably fixes another third of your problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how they set up. I mean, I know that sounds weird for a team that doesn't pick till 42. I kind of like how that sets up. I mean, in my mock, I gave a Mozzie Smith.
Wow.
Yeah,
that'd work really good.
See?
Yeah.
You see how that one
somebody
piece,
clog
that's
up
what I'm
the
talking about with the
middle, yeah.
Rams, is that I feel like they need more than that. I'm looking at the Browns going, you have little small things. You need more weapons. This is one of the best receiver drafts I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care that you don't have any money. Go get a Jaden Reed in the 3rd round, and problems fixed. And you have an elite Pro Bowl level quarterback. You just need that. You need that offseason.
If I had to take another one, maybe a little something on the Washington Commanders at plus 7,000. We all know Sam Howell's going to be awesome. And he's going to take over the league.
Why don't you just throw something on the Houston Texans while you're at it?
And Eric Bieniemy is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread in the next hiring cycle after he turns Sam Howell into the MVP next year.
It does seem that he's going to take another job. Andy Reid was very open about that.
Yes. And he said he hopes he goes to a place where he can call the shots, where he can be the guy.
And that's Washington.
You know what I heard about that? Or what I heard when he said that? Because you're not going to do it here.
No, because you're never going to get the credit here.
Right.
And you got to give Andy Reid credit for just heaping praise on Eric Bieniemy. He knows where this is. He knows that everybody immediately goes to Andy Reid and goes, that's the reason that this works.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if he's not the one directly calling the plays, he is the puppet master. And so you need to now get somewhere, whether it's Baltimore, whether it's Washington, where you can be that guy. And if that offense improves to where those teams for Washington is in the playoffs, Baltimore is competitive with those higher-end AFC teams, then you're going to get those opportunities.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. When we come back, it'll be time for the most important message of the day.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
After winter this past weekend, it's an uphill climb for Valentine's. We'll switch to the above average numbers now with south winds taking over the forecast here. 32 degrees our low tonight, mostly cloudy, warmer on Valentine's Tuesday, high 60 degrees. Wednesday, cloudy, 65, and some 1-inch rains cruising in for late week on Thursday. Temperatures in the low 60s Thursday. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic stop and go 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 west and eastbound stop and go between Chimney Rock Road and Hendersonville Road. 40 westbound light delays between Hendersonville Road and Bavard Road. Smoky Park Highway north and southbound approaching Sand Hill Road is slow. In North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound near Edgewood Road is slow. In the Fletcher area, Hendersonville Road north and southbound approaching Fanning Bridge Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing is committed to quality and printing perfect every time. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more. Offer ends $225. See staples.com/stores/printbig for details. Try Staples and see the difference.
The new Crispy Melt Taco is now at Taco Bell. Some facts about it are: 1, its shell is freshly fried daily. 2, it has a melty, cheesy blend inside. And 3, it comes with seasoned beef or black beans. And totally feel free to drop those Crispy Melt Taco facts whenever you want, too. Like maybe save them for when a friend's like, what should we eat? And you say, Crispy Melt Tacos. And they're like, nah. And then you need to make an airtight case for why they're wrong.
The new Crispy Melt Taco. Try one today, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact local store for prices, hours, and participation which vary.
Of course, your favorite station is on the free iHeartRadio app. Take us with you anywhere and listen anytime. Plus, get thousands of other stations and playlists all free. Download our free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio. All right, people, it's Valentine's Day. Everything has to be perfect. Yes, Chef.
At Ingles, we know that not every Valentine's Day is 4-star perfection, with string quartets and swanky restaurants.
My boyfriend bought me flowers.
That it's not the money you spend or the elaborate lengths you go to.
Happy Valentine's Day.
It just has to come from the heart. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
We're back in the sports and it is the most important to do. Yeah, and there's a Russian woman living in New York City that is facing 25 years in prison after, well, she was found guilty of an identity theft scheme. Now, that might sound odd to you. 25 years for identity theft? Well, it was the manner in which she went about trying to steal this woman's identity. So apparently, Victoria Nasarova and Olga Shvik look exactly alike, or at least they did in 2016. So this has been 7 years. It's finally gone through all the court stuff. She's finally been found guilty of the crime and awaits sentencing. But she thought she had the perfect crime planned out. She was going to go over to the hairdresser's house, the beautician's house, and she was going to poison her, make it look like a suicide, and then steal her identity. The problem was, well, the sedative that she gave Mrs. Shvik, it did not do what she wanted it to do. Apparently, after a day or two of her feeding this cheesecake to the beautician, a friend of the beautician comes over and finds her unconscious on her floor where this woman had poisoned her. She lost consciousness, and then she changed her clothes, put her into like a silk nightie, and then just strode pills all over the place to make it look like an accident. Well, again, the woman did not die, and when she came to, she told police that the last thing that she remembered was this woman just walking around her room before she lost consciousness. Well, when she returned from the hospital, she found that all her documents were gone. Her work visa was gone, her IDs were gone, and of course, it quickly led them to the woman, because I've got an eyewitness. She's facing 25 years for attempted murder on top of the identity theft charges, and she's going to spend a long, long time behind bars.
The person in my story, I don't know how much time you're going to do behind bars, but there will be some. His name is Bradley Jermaine Baker. He's 48 years old, and he lives in Bibb County, Georgia. He did a thing that, well, you should never do. It's crimes.
Okay.
He stole an ambulance.
Yeah, it's not good.
And the reason that people noticed it is because they were near Mercer University, and residents noticed an ambulance was moving aggressively and didn't have its headlights on at night. That's odd.
So it's a weird sign, yeah.
So deputies responded to the scene, but the driver would not stop the ambulance. And they go on a wee lad of a chase. And at some point, he ditches the ambulance and attempts to flee on foot. I do feel as though this would be a good time to say he had active warrants in multiple counties. They believe he was under the influence of drugs. And then there's the kicker. He's naked. Just full on naked, driving it, just robbing stealing an ambulance and going on a police chase. Naked. I'm going to be honest. There are very few stories that you can add naked to and go, that's okay. Usually it's a multiplier. I stole an ambulance whilst high on drugs and
naked. I'm glad you're using the term properly as well. Like you've heard the old Louis Grizzard line, there's a difference between naked and naked.
Yes.
If you're naked, that means you ain't got no clothes on. If you're naked, that means you ain't got no clothes on and you're up to something.
And you probably don't have any sense either.
Yeah, and stealing an ambulance while you're naked is about a 6,000 on the FAFO scale.
Correct. Yeah. Yes. He was booked into the Bibb County Jail and is currently being held without bail.
I think this is the best place for him.
No news on the location of his clothing. Feel like the Bibb County Jail will be giving him a jumpsuit that will be his new clothing for quite some time.
Yes. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, and 90 pounds in 1 year. If you need to get a handle on your weight problem, the PhD weight loss program is the one for you. Dr. Ashley Lucas she taught me the plan. She taught Jeremy the plan, and we had amazing results on this program over the last year. Don't continue to lose the battle with your weight problem. You can lose it fast.
I did not have 90 pounds to lose. I had just gotten a little doughy. That's what happens when you're an athletic person and you stop doing athletic things, and that had led to some sleep issues, a lot of knee and back pain, and just over a year on this program, that's all gone away. I'm back to my high school weight, and it's all thanks to the plan program of PhD Weight Loss.
I'm a slimmer, trimmer Tank Spencer today because of Dr. Ashley Lucas and the fine support staff over at PhD Weight Loss. Get results like you cannot get from any other program with PhD. Go to myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss is the official partner of the Clemson Tigers.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound near Long Shoals Road. An accident. The shoulder closed. Smoky Park Highway northbound approaching Sand Hill Road is slow. Sweeten Creek Road southbound between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road moving well. North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road. Traffic slow. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. Jackson Hewitt gets you your biggest tax refund guaranteed, plus a chance to double your refund or win weekly prizes with their Double Your Refund sweepstakes. File your taxes on the double. No purchase necessary. U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Ends 4/2/23.
If you're like me, when I'm working with wood, safety is my #1 priority. That's why I use the Wall Manscaper. With its patented wraparound guard and safe touch blade, it's the safest tool for whittling below the old carpenter's belt. No nicks, no cuts, no fear. So protect your package, and all of you, with a full set of Wall Manscaper tools. Groom safely, my friend.
Over 50,000 police officers are assaulted each year. Help police by not escalating. Address any complaints after the encounter. Comply now, complain later. Keep everybody safe. This message brought to you by the National Police Association. Learn more at nationalpolice.org.
Let me guess. Unknown caller? You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
The Ingles 2023 Southern Conference Downtown Dribble and Kids Fest, presented by Champion Credit Union, will be held Saturday, March 4th, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Roger McGuire Greene at Peck Square Park. The Downtown Dribble will feature interactive games, inflatables, pep bands, cheerleaders, and parade. Each participant will receive a basketball, Downtown Dribble t-shirt, and a ticket to the noon session quarterfinal basketball games. Check-in will begin at 9:30 a.m. at Roger McGuire Greene. To register, visit downtowndribble.eventbrite.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville, or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
The football season comes to an end.
Well, just the football part of the season.
Well, yes, with the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 57 last night, 38-35, and now starts the draftmas season.
Now starts the fun part. Off-season, the draft, the combine.
That's right. Tomorrow on the program, we'll be doing our way too early power rankings for a Power Ranking Tuesday for the 2023 season.
We'll also be doing one player in free agency, one player in the draft, and one player on your roster. That would be great additions.
Okay. Focusing on how you can get better next year. That's what it's all about. We got a super chat to get to.
We do.
I'm your huckleberry.
It's from Gage Camplin. He was talking about the 2-round mock draft that just came out over the weekend. Said love both Bijan Robinson and Devin Witherspoon to the Birds. I had Bijan in the mock. Devin Witherspoon was the other one that I considered.
Mm-hmm.
I had him falling to the Lions. One of the corners is going to fall. I just can't figure out which one it is. Corners are fun.
Yeah.
Because there's like 40 of them.
Yeah. The Philadelphia Eagles, regardless of what they're going to lose in this offseason, they still have – that's one of the things I like about them for next year is they have the draft capital to be able to replace those items.
Well, you just have the ability to be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie, adding Bijan Robinson, I think, is that's one of those that once I saw it, now I just can't get away from it. Because it never made sense to me that the best player in the draft is going to fall into the 20s. I mean, I understand he's a running back. I saw Ezekiel Elliott go in the top 5, okay? Right. I mean, he had high-level tape, don't get me wrong, but we all knew that wasn't going to age particularly well. Leonard Fournette, Bijan's a better prospect than both of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me to think he's going to fall into the 20s is just I can't wrap my brain around that. And Philadelphia makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
So does Detroit, for what it's worth.
Yep. Well, it looks like Derek Carr not going to be a part of a trade.
Oh, weird.
Shocker of shockers.
That sounds so familiar. Oh, yeah, that's right, because I told you that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. That was the official
the
word
dumbest
yesterday.
thing I think I've ever heard. Because that leaked from Derek Carr's camp.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe the Raiders actually thought anybody was going to, A, take that contract when they don't have to, B, give you draft capital knowing full well he controls every part of this.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know why NFL players don't get no trade clauses, this is why. There's nothing you can do. I mean, he said flat no. If he's on the roster on, Wednesday, you owe him $40 million.
Yeah, the word was that Derek Carr turned down the trade to the New Orleans Saints. Apparently the Saints were all in, but they wanted him to take less money. They wanted to change the contract once the trade was
executed. And they're still
and
involved, just so you know.
Of course they are. But why would I do that? If I'm Derek Carr, why would I do that? Why would I not just let them cut me outright and let me do the picking of the next team? Let these teams do the whining and dining thing with me. Fight for my services. I'm not going to settle for the New Orleans Saints.
Allegedly, New Orleans was willing to make a move with draft pick compensation if he would redo his deal. There's no reason for him to do that.
No.
I can just go out and pick my team. I think you're going to have several that are interested. The hiring of Todd Downing today is really interesting for me with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that fun game that I love to play. Who wants you to know that? A little report sneaks out today that the Jets have contacted the Green Bay Packers to kind of get an idea of what that deal would look like while Aaron Rodgers is on his darkness retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Programming note, we will be taking a darkness retreat starting Thursday, and we will be back next Tuesday.
Yes, so Wednesday of this week will be our final show of the week.
Take a little I'm personally, I'm not going to do any ayahuasca. I'm more of a domestic lights guy. But I will be taking a darkness retreat to really find myself and hope that I come back even angrier than I started.
I'm going to get me some salt therapy this weekend, and that is much needed. Long awaited. So that's what we're going to be doing for the next several days. But we will be with you tomorrow. We will be with you on Wednesday as well. Look, Derek Carr, like I said earlier in the program, the Jets have sent you the signal. We're doing one or the other. Mm-hmm. It's either going to be Aaron Rodgers or it's going to be Derek Carr. And it just depends on what it's going to cost us either way. They've put themselves in a position where we can go all in with one of these guys, and we're just going to take the better of the deal.
Well, and I feel like the Jets are a lot of people have said Derek Carr's the domino that has to fall. Let's just be really honest here. If Aaron Rodgers is not playing for the Green Bay Packers next year, it's with the New York Jets.
Yes.
You're not going into a division with the Raiders. Because trust me, Aaron Rodgers is watching how dysfunctional this organization is. He has no interest.
No.
The only tie is a receiver that left him. That's your tie to the Raiders. That doesn't make any sense. So he's going to be wearing green one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets are more in on Aaron Rodgers. I can tell you that definitively. If they even so much think that a deal is attainable, that's where they're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And they will do anything to get it done. Now, if Green Bay comes back with them with something stupid, which basically anything more than their first this year and a conditional pick the following year is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
If they come back with that, then I would say they would make a run at Derek Carr. I would say the Jets are probably his number one destination. Being with Todd Downing, being in a system that he's going to be comfortable with to some extreme.
Mm-hmm. And the weapons.
And the weapons, and the defense, and the market, and the money. I mean, there's a lot of benefit there.
Yes.
I feel like the Jets are the initial domino. Nothing else is going to happen. Because you can't look at that New Orleans roster and go, I'm in a better shape to win there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good roster. It's a bad division. But I could win a Super Bowl with them.
How quickly do you get the answer from Green Bay is on my mind. If I'm the New York Jets, how long do I wait? Because I can't wait too long. I can't miss out on Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers.
Well, you got 30 days there. Nothing can happen until the league starts.
Right.
So I would say you will probably have maybe not a definitive, but a pretty good lean. A lot of these things get done at the combine, which starts 15 days from now.
Mm-hmm.
Team officials will be there 13 days from now. So you'll start getting these conversations. I would say you'll have a lean there by the end of the combine.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Aaron Rodgers is the ultimate wild card.
Yeah, it seems like the jettiest thing ever to take the swing at both, miss both.
And wind up with Ryan Tannehill.
Well, I was going to say Jimmy Garoppolo, but
it won't be Garoppolo.
It won't be.
It will not be Garoppolo, I can tell you that much. They're not dealing with an injury-prone quarterback.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. It'll be a Power Rankings Tuesday. Way too early Power Rankings, plus what your team can do in the draft and free agency and with your own roster to get better for next year.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
After winter this past weekend, it's an uphill climb for Valentine's. We'll switch to the above average numbers now as south winds taking over the forecast here. 32 degrees our low tonight, mostly cloudy, warmer on Valentine's Tuesday, high 60 degrees. Wednesday, cloudy, 65, and some 1-inch rains cruising in for late week on Thursday. Temperatures in the low 60s Thursday. I'm meteorologist